Welcome to Hartford, Wisconsin, where we're just 48 hours and 38 nautical miles from the world's largest aviation celebration. Hartford, legendary in its own right, it's taildragger paradise in the middle of the Wisconsin corn and home to the torchbearers that keep the iconic Piper Cubs community together and in the sky. Seemingly immune to the sands of time, this airport and its squadron of J3 Cubs stand testament to aviation history and all those that have dared to dream and cast their gaze skyward. Let's take a look at the Airfield. Hartford Municipal Airport, that's Hotel X-Ray Foxtrot, sits at 1,070 feet above sea level and is home to 2 runways. Our race course on runway 1836 is 2,231 feet of turf in excellent condition. It's the perfect place for National STOL to come and play. But don't let that welcoming grass fool you. With more rookies attending this competition than any other event in the circuit, Sodbusters has a history of nose-overs and heartbreak. Some absolute legends of bush flying and STOL aviation flying into Hartford today, and with that, some heated competition. In the touring class, reigning champion Brandon Korn continues to fight off the advance from John McCardle in the season standings. In Backcountry, it's Jeff Pohl's return to the circuit in Dirty Bird versus Jerry Clemens' reversible pitch propeller and Scott Sweet's Scout. Adventure classes Brian Steck and Colin Kneva will be using their legend aircraft MOACs to halt the relentless gallop of Jeff Daly's Badlands Traveler Warhorse. Sport class is thick with competitors this weekend. Pat McIntyre and Joel Milloway's Rans S7s aim to survive the horde of Kit Foxes and Carbon Cubs looking to knock them off the podium. And lastly, the Unlimited class. Steve Henry and Yeehaw 8 continue their return to National STOL to fight back the frigid assault from the north by Canadians Dan Reynolds and Jason Boussat. It's time for engine start here in Hartford, Wisconsin. The line is painted, the pattern is clear, we're cleared for takeoff, and it's time for National STOL's Sodbusters 2024.
You know, it's always serious business when we're looking at the helicopter view from National STOL.
Well, I love to see it because Red Heron is so dang good at it. I don't know how these guys do it, man. I always talk about it on stream where you've got guys in the simulator that are doing drone operations like professionals. I've never seen it before in my life until now.
What I don't understand is when I first started watching, I always thought it was automated, like the software was doing it or AI was doing it. But now knowing that I've got friends who are doing it, it's really awesome.
That's actually that's cool to know because it kind of adds a little bit of personality to it, you know. You got guys like Red Heron and Vinny and DeWert. I mean, those guys they work hard. They know their camera settings better than anyone else, and that's how they bring the best camera views of any. I mean, I guess we might be the only live. Show on Microsoft Flight Simulator as far as a full broadcast of an event like this, but they are the best. I mean, even if we're the only one, that just proves it. They're the best. So we got a big competition coming up today. eSTOL today brought to you by DOF Reality. If you want to check out a full motion simulator that you'll be able to afford, check out www.DOF Reality. I got to ride in one. They had me come out to one in the expo, and I was kind of skeptical at first about doing it, but I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go try it. And after I tried it, I was like, okay, now I'm buying one. But I got to save a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a total blast, like totally worth every penny. Maybe a little bit more.
Definitely. Well, I mean, when you can get into one for, relatively inexpensively compared to anything else you can find online. I mean, there's some There are some high-priced full motion simulators out there. Now, you don't need one. Not everybody. We still have some competitors that are, using an Xbox controller, without any pedals or anything like that. So it's not like you need one to compete. But when you get to that top level, I think maybe that's the time to do it.
Well, don't forget to use, if you decide to pick one up, don't forget to use the coupon code STOL. That's STOL for a discount. And Bursty, you know where we're flying out of today?
We're flying out of, well, I got the shirt on, if you could see it. Maybe I need to move my camera a little bit, but Sodbusters today. We're flying out of Hartford Municipal, just about 50 miles shy of, 50 miles south of Oshkosh. So this is a real life location, as all ours are. The very first one was the only one. The starting competition was the only one where we were celebrating the start that we had with eSTOL in the simulator over at Johnson's Farm. That's where this all started for us in the simulator. But today, we're at Hartford Municipal KHXF. And it is available on the Flight Sim store if you want to buy it. You guys at home, if you want to practice and get into the mix, definitely anybody can compete. It's real simple. Just go to nationalstol.com/chat. And you can compete in this as well.
All right. Well, it looks like we are going to cut to a what is STOL video restock in.
So this is going to tell us what STOL is?
Harrison.
Takeoff and landing competitions are simple. We have the pilots here competing in separate classes to get the lowest score possible. As you see behind me, we have the start-finish line. So let's start with the takeoff.
This runway is marked with a start-finish line, and as a competitor parks their main gear on the line, they apply power and position their aircraft to get off the ground as soon as possible. Once their main gear leaves the ground, a line judge will mark their takeoff score using the measuring line along the side. This score will be added to the pilot's landing score on this heat. The landing is in two parts. It's either over the line and counted, or if the pilot's main gear touches down before the line, or even touches the line, this heat score is scratched and results on a landing disqualification, and the pilot will have to rely on another takeoff and landing score to get them on the podium. A quick look at our aircraft shows we have two types of landing gear, tricycle and tail draggers. On the tail dragger aircraft, the score is marked from the two main wheels toward the front of the airplane. And for tricycle landing gear, the score is marked by the two main gear in the rear of the aircraft. It's a fierce competition out here, but at the end of the day, it's all about building better and safer pilots in the skies.
It's a great day for STOL competitions. Let's get it started.
All right, well, would you look at that? That's how you do STOL, guys. And what's cool about that is that it can actually go from real life to the simulator. It's good enough. We've made this close enough where you can learn from a real life video and do it right here with us on the field in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, Cam, what are you doing today? What are you doing today besides? I heard you were out at some kind of event, some kind of charity flying event or something.
Yeah, I'm at the River Valley Rally here in Russellville, Arkansas. It's a charity event that all the proceeds are going to some local charities. They're offering flights to everyone for $40 and like a T-shirt for like $20. And they take you around the River Valley and you get to see some of the mountains and fly in a tail dragger or fly in like a 172. We have about 7 aircraft or a little bit more than that out here right now, ready for flights.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So today we're going to do some touring. We're going to start off with touring class, okay? So we're going to introduce you to the touring class. I'm going to let Cam take this away, man. Cam, tell us who's in the touring class.
All right, we got number 12, race 12, Mark Hawkins in the 1962 PZL 104 Wilga. We've got race number 97, Tom Smith in the 2023 Wilga ADP. We've got the 94 Brown Dog, one of my favorite, Brown Dog 942 in the 1984 Wilga ADP. Race number 17, Porter Chase in the 1956 de Havilland. And
so who do we think is going to take home the cake in this one? I mean, we've seen Tom win, we've seen Brown Dog win, we've definitely seen Barricus win. Those Barricus and Tom are the veterans of the series, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to see.
It is going to be tough.
I don't know if Porter Chase has won yet. I know he's good though. I know we saw a big splash from him at Pinedale, or not Pinedale. Wherever we were last. I can't remember where all over the place. Yes, Appalachian STOL.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've already got people in the Twitch chat here. Red Baron's, saying, "Come on, Brown Dog." He wants Brown Dog to win. People are telling me that if North Cali doesn't win, that FS 2024 is getting canceled, which is the new game that's coming out. But North Cali's not even in this one, so what are we doing? We gotta wait until it's his heat, right? Come on, guys, your threat's got to be better than that. I just love to see all the competition in the chat against when the fans are excited about it, you're doing a good job. So you guys, everybody at eSTOL, man, you guys do such a good job. I'm just happy to be a part of it a couple times a week, a couple times a month, or whatever, a couple times a year. Anyway,
the
boys are lining up. Looks like who's going to take the initial roll off here? It looks like Barricus is going to take the initial roll off here. He's going to be in that beautiful Wilga. Now, we used to have. Is it really? Have you ever seen one fly in real life? I've never seen one fly in real life, and I would really like to.
I've never seen one fly in real life. One of our actual hosts, Corey. Corey had a Wilga in real life, and you can ask him some good questions about it.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of the inspiration for this plane came from, was his concept for the Wilga. I think that's where the X comes from in this here, the 80X version.
All right, we got a green flag.
So it looks like we got a green flag. Cam, here we go, man. I would say strap in, and this is going to be a wild ride. I'm calling it right now, though. I don't want to make anybody else mad, but I'm going to say this. I think Brown Dog is going to come in hot because of his technique last time. He finally, and we should see if the other guys are going to follow the same technique. It looks like Barricus is coming out of the gate following the same technique that Brown Dog won with in Appalachian STOL. I'll listen to the sound of that.
It sounds so good. They did a real good job on this model.
Oh, they did. Got Friends are wonderful. They're now partnered with, it's finally, all the NDAs are lifted. We can talk about it. They're now partnered with Microsoft. So super happy for those guys, man. They are a hell of a group of guys that make planes in the flight simulator. So check them out, got-friends.com. Smitty choosing to take the same. So I think everybody now has figured out. When we first started the eSTOL stuff, Eric and I casted the very first event. And Eric was talking about it. He couldn't stop talking about it. He was saying, hey, man, they should be taking off in this three-point takeoff, and I'm like, well, they never do it like that in the sim, And so Eric was right all along, which I would have loved to seen earlier, but it took, a few events for people to realize that this is actually the better way to take off in the Wilga, even in the flight simulator.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of videos of them in competition. I mean, we did have one last year in Minnesota. Not a lot of video of them actually in competition for you to reference. And it's such an obscure aircraft, too.
Yeah, it really is. So we have some takeoff distances here. Takeoff distance number 1, Mark Hawkins, was 178. Tom Smith, or Smitty, 171. Brown Dog taking off in 169. So Brown Dog does take that round of takeoffs. Porter Chase rounding out the pack, and the Beaver, also a great sounding aircraft with some work done on it by Got Friends. And they put the bush tires on it and maneuvered the flight model around to make it beautiful. Porter Chase taking off in 298 feet. And so now we'll see if they tightened up that pattern, and Mark should be coming in here pretty soon for a landing. So, I mean, yeah, Brown Dog is already coming out stronger. He is the one to coin that 3-point takeoff in the Wilga, even though it is the way they would take it off in real life. Nobody was doing it in the beginning. Now everybody's doing it. That's kind of the theme these days. When somebody starts doing it, everybody starts doing it, you know? But, I mean, if you want to win.
I mean, that's the best way. That's the best way to win for sure. Watch the people who use it and do it well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a big secret either. I think a lot of these guys, you find them practicing week after week. I was out here last night doing some promotion of Hangar Studios' new American Champion, and I just was using the airport to fly at for the YouTube video I was making, and I just randomly came to the server that they were all on. Ooh, nice landing. Cam, what do you think? Safe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely safe.
Wow. Barracus is coming in hot. Looks like 121-foot landing from Barracus. That's good. But yeah, I saw all the guys out here, all the guys and girls out here practicing last night, and it was just, when it's a surprise like that for me, it really does. It hits me. I'm like, dang, that's awesome that these guys are out here. Just, they really do. They try their butts off, man. Okay, a little longer of a landing for Smitty, but at least he gets some points on the board. Because remember, these guys are all competing for season points, so it's not all about getting first place all the time. It's about keeping consistent with the points. Tom Smith with a 132-foot landing.
All right. We got Brown Dog coming in right now. Oh, with a scratch.
Scratch. Brown Dog scratches on the first round. See, now, you know, after coming in hot from, you know, a win. I don't know if he won the last one. I know he's won recently, though. He might be kind of amped up.
Looks like we have go around.
Go around from Porter Chase. I wonder if he was coming in too close to Brown Dog, so he decided to go around, which is great because just like in the real world, we want to keep the most amount of safety here that we can possibly keep, right? It's a simulator. No one's ever going to get hurt here, except for maybe Smitty, because he's in his full motion simulator. But other than that, you know, or anybody in a DOF reality, you know, they might be no, nobody's getting hurt. It's the flight simulator, but still, yeah. So it looks like Porter Chase is going to come back around. Now Porter Chase is a game developer, from what I remember. He has developed, I think it's what they call a turn-based military strategy aviation game, which is still not as long as like the MMORPGs, if you were to like say that out, that genre of video game. All right, so Porter Chase is coming in. He's got those flaps all the way, I would imagine, all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think here, Cam? Scratch? Do you think he's going to make it?
No. It looks like he did well with that one.
Safe.
And he didn't give up. Yeah, he didn't give up a lot of space either.
Yeah. You know, and I think when you see people flying something like the Beaver in the flight simulator, I don't know how it is in the real world, but I know in the flight simulator, people who fly it, they know it's never going to win. But it's still cool to see Porter coming in and or Chase actually coming in, and his actually name is Chase Porter. But it's nice to see him coming in here, even if he knows that the Beaver's not going to win, he's still having fun in it.
Yeah.
And for him, I don't think it's about the winning. I think it's about he's actually pretty. He's like a numbers guy, I think, because I see him a lot in the chat. And he's always talking about, testing this plane, testing that plane, etc. So he knows what planes are going to win, and yet he chooses to fly the Beaver. It's something where you fly what you love, And Mark Hawkins coming over those power lines.
With the 192 on the numbers. All right. Or off the numbers, technically.
So that was a 192 for the first round for him?
For his second round. First round was 172 for his takeoff, and this round is 192. His combined for the first round is 299. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. For some reason, I'm not seeing the combined here. I gotta move over just a bit. There we go. Okay, now I can see the combined. It's because I have my score sheet on a vertical monitor. I should actually open this up on the other side.
All right, that was 196 feet from Tom Smith just a little bit ago in the black and yellow Wilga.
All right, now that I got this back open, I can pay attention here. So you said Tom Smith 196, and then Brown Dog is better to. Yeah, he's better to score again. So he's shaved off 11 feet off his first takeoff. Now he's just got to make sure he doesn't scratch.
Yeah. Let's see what Chase is doing right now in the Beaver.
That is an honest try out of the Beaver. That is, he's digging all the way in, giving it as much as he can, and he pulled perfectly in there too.
I really don't. Like, I know his performance isn't going to be competitive with the Bogus, but I really don't mind because just the sound of that in my headphones right now just sounds amazing.
Yeah, definitely. That Beaver, that Beaver, the sound in that thing is, and it's crazy because, those are both radial aircraft. But I tell you, the Beaver and the Wilga in the flight simulator here, they sound both beautiful, but completely different.
Looks like Mark's coming back in on final.
Red Baron in the Twitch chat says, I feel the need to bleed the speed. That's what they do in STOL. When they're coming in, they need to bleed the speed. So
we should see some flaps coming out.
And when you watch these guys coming in, you don't think about what all goes into it, on takeoff or landing. But for now, we'll talk about landing because that's what we're watching here. But when they're coming in on landing, they're what's called under the power curve, and they're manipulating their throttle, right? So if they think they're going to be coming in a little short, they've got to add throttle, and sometimes all the way up to full throttle. Nice landing out of Hawkins there.
All right. They probably gave up 75 feet on that.
Man, I thought he landed right on the. I thought he landed right on the numbers. I guess I didn't see exactly what you were seeing, Cam.
I thought I saw right on the logo, but
108 on the landing. So not too bad. Yeah, not too bad.
No violation. Okay, cool.
But Cam, that's why they let the pros do the measuring and not you and I, because you and I would not get it right. Between one of us.
True. Seriously, Tom Smith, that landing just now, he didn't give up anything. I mean, he was almost right on the line.
And yet he's got a longer. Yeah, what the heck is going on here? Yet he's got a longer landing distance. So actually, they just corrected the score for Barricas. So it was a little longer. It was a little longer like you thought, but it was somewhere in the middle of what you and I were thinking because it's looking about 118 for Mark Hawkins' first landing and 152 for Smitty's. Another excellent landing from Brown Dog, rocking the Nationals eSTOL livery.
Such a pretty plane. It's a good livery.
Yeah,
119 on that landing.
Nice, 119. So we're saying what, Cam? That's like 1 foot longer than. That's like 1 foot longer than Mark Hawkins, but his takeoff was quite a bit shorter, so he's actually going to be taking home more points for that landing.
Yeah. And the Beaver's coming in, the nice little bounce.
Hey, looks like he's shaving off a little bit, possibly.
Yeah. Oh, there was a scratch. Okay.
Oh, dang, he did scratch. And I'm seeing something here in the chat. I'm seeing now a Miss Brown Dog in the Twitch chat. So we have, it looks like that's probably Brown Dog's spouse there in the Twitch chat cheering him on. She says, let's go Brown Dog, with about 6 hearts after it. So I love to see that, you know, when your spouse can come in here and cheer you on. Hey, shout out to all the spouses cheering on their eSTOL pilots. And I know you spouses have heard this before. It's not a game. It's a simulator. Okay? It's a simulator. It's not a game. I got to tell my wife that all the time. She says, "You in there playing your game?" No. I'm working. It's a simulator.
So right now the standings are Brown Dog in first place, Mark Hawkins in second place, Tom Smith in third, and Chase Porter in fourth.
So Cam, how do you break down what we're seeing here? I mean, what do you think? We got one more round left. By looking at the total landing and takeoff scores we see right now, who do you think's gonna be able to pull it off? Brown Dog's in the lead by quite a bit, but what do you think?
I mean, all the guys in the book it's a toss up. They're very close. If you look at the numbers right now, I mean, it's a spread that's no more than 30 points, or 30 feet. So I mean, it could be anybody's game, honestly.
Smitty's trying the old takeoff.
Oh yeah.
I think Smitty's maybe he just wants to have more fun in his full motion simulator, because it definitely is probably more fun to pull the nose up, and you know, he's in real life, you know, he's in this big simulator leaning forward and all this stuff, you know. I guess it'd be more fun than the 3-point takeoff. But maybe he's getting frustrated. He wants to try something different. He says, you know what, I'm going back to what I know works for me.
Yeah.
And as we see, Brown Dog sticking with that tried and tested, his winning method. I call that the winning method. I call that the gold standard.
Yeah, 141 on that takeoff from Brown Dog. So I mean, like, the shortest takeoff we've seen.
Yeah.
So far.
What's weather like? Do we have any updates from race control on weather? I wonder if we can see. Maybe the wind's picking up. Maybe the wind will pick up 30 knots here, and Porter Chase will take home the gold.
Bring up since it's reporting live weather, I think I can look up Hartford in for flight real quick.
That good. Yeah, Cam, while you do that, I'll say Chase shaved off another. So Chase's takeoffs 298 in the first round, 292 in the second round, and 288 in the third round. So he's still shaving it off. So either he's getting better, or it's getting windier, or it's a mix of the two there. So the scenery we're in today, guys, it's available for everyone that has Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you look in the official store, it's available for purchase. It's only $4.99. So if you want to be like the guys you're seeing on the TV, the guys and the gals you're seeing on the TV here, and get your practice in, there are a ton of good ones in the store. Anything from Anov in the store that's going to be talking about National eSTOL. But today we're at Hartford Municipal. It's the newest one. Now, this airport, I've heard reports it's terrible in the base sim. So there are a ton of what do you call them? Hangars here. Excuse me, I was drawing a blank there. There are a ton of hangars here, but none of them actually show up in the flight sim. So when Anov made the scenery, he had to hand model like over 100 hangars or something like that. And so that's a lot of work. And I mean, it took him hours and hours. So definitely need to check it out. It makes the airport way better.
All right, so Hartford doesn't have weather up right now, but the nearest airport, West Bend. Oh, do we have weather? Sorry.
We do have a report from chat. So chat, when they always come through when we can't figure stuff out, Cam, and sometimes we can't do it, they can do it. It says snowing 6 knots, but when I move my mouse, it actually is an H and it says showing 6 knots. So North Cali says it's showing 6 knots. It's not snowing.
All right, yeah, that is what West Bend is showing actually right now. 6 knots out of the 130. Sky conditions clear. Obviously, what we're seeing right now, 10 miles visibility, 2.9 or 2.9er, 9.1 on the altimeter.
Nice. I'd love to see in the chat we have Quert, who is officially known as an airliner guy. And he's a flight sim guy, a streamer out there in the world. And he says, I just landed in Tacoma on Say Intentions, just sitting here in the Islander watching. Yes, look at that, man. Ooh, nice landing. Brown Dog again. A little longer than his other one. Maybe the wind died down on him.
Pete just gave us an update on the winds. It is, I think he's at 6 out of the 153.
Nice. So in relation to that runway, let's see. Let me pull up my map here and see which runway we're coming from here. There we go. Stop by halftime. I mean, that's good. Chase, I'm telling you, Chase, that Beaver, I don't know if it ever has a chance to win, but that is really good performance out of Chase, flying what he loves to fly, the Beaver, even though he knows it's not going to win, and he's still showing improvement in his own right.
It looks like the runway is 1836.
So we're going to pull up some results here. Cam, what do we have for the end of the class here?
Let's see.
Just listen to that sound. Guys, the flight simulator is amazing. Take it away, Cam.
Sorry, you're good. All right.
Oh, no.
First place, Brown Dog 941 in the 1984 Wilga with his best run of combined total 277 feet. Second place, Mark Hawkins in the 1962 Wilga at 299 feet. Tom Smith in the third place in the 2023 at 303. And Chase Porter in the de Havilland Beaver, the best sounding aircraft in the game right now, at 571 feet or 578 feet in fourth place.
That's an interesting take, Cam. I like that. The Beaver is an older plane for us, so it's not something that we fly a whole lot. But man, now that you're saying how beautiful it sounds, I might have to jump back into it and do a group flight in that thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to join you.
So coming up, you see the billboards in the background, right? These are all in the scenery here. But we saw the DOF Reality one, which our full motion simulator is a great price on them. I mean, they are hands down the best price full motion simulator. They want you to get a full motion simulator, and so they work very hard to get those prices down as low as possible. So make sure to use code STOL at dofreality.com. And we do have, coming up on November 9th, the Rocky Mountain STOL. So we're going to go to commercial break. We'll be back here just in a few minutes. Cam and I are going to shoot the stuff behind the scenes, and we'll tell you what's coming up next right after the break.
Man, that's some good footage.
Oh yeah, I got to ride in one at Expo, and it was, I mean, I chose to do the F-18, and I was totally not interested in it, but they asked me to come do it, and it's nothing to do with, you know, the interest. I'm a streamer, you know, so I have to be there to talk to chat and everything else, and I don't know how I'm gonna hook my TV and be riding around like that, but I'm telling you, I made a pact when they've got me out there in one, and I made a pact after I rode in it. I'm like, I'm buying this, I'm figuring it out how to do this on stream. So when I get the money to buy one, I'm gonna buy one. It's a little saving for me. You know, I do have a baby on the way, so you know I gotta save my money a little bit, but it'll come in due time. But yeah, I definitely want one, and I wasn't expecting to want something like that. So we have coming up the Backcountry. Cam is gonna tell us who's rocking out in the Backcountry. Cam, who do we have in the Backcountry today?
All right, so we've got race number 75, Byron Bowman in the 1954 Cessna 170B out of Kentucky. We got Victor Vosser in the 1953 Cessna 170B as well out of Poland. Race number 8, Ryan Runkle, 1987 Cessna 172 out of Pennsylvania. Race number 71, that is, Tommy Pizer out of in the 2017 BB Extreme out of Sandy, Utah. And race number 15, John Coughlin in the 1987 Cessna 170B out of Wisconsin.
Sounds like a great lineup. We have winners all along there. Look at that. We got a shout out to coming up to the next event already. I hate to do that, the next event already, because I'm having so much fun today, but we do got to talk about it because it's coming up in like 6 weeks. Rocky Mountain eSTOL coming up on November 9th. You can watch it online, the same place you're watching today, and there will be, you guessed it, another airport coming out, and it'll be in the official store just like this one is. So you can get the airport from today's event in the official store. And while these guys taxi out, I think Cam and I need to really think long and hard about who we want to win here, even though we really we make no difference on who wins. We want to think about this because we don't want to upset anybody with our predictions, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you got to look at history, you know? And I know Red Baron has won. Red Baron has been making a ton of headway on his real life flying. So he's done a couple of his check rides and things like that. He's a A&P mechanic, and now he's getting close to getting his private license. And super proud of that guy, man. He came into my flight sim stream a couple of years ago and was just starting out flying, and now a couple of years later he's almost done with it. He's really dominating here in eSTOL, and so it's really cool because this event isn't just about the simulator. When you come and fly in a national eSTOL event, you get access to people like Red Baron, who is very helpful and always is there. He's basically an ambassador to all the new pilots. But you get access to somebody like that. So if you're in the crowd and you're thinking, man, I want to join this. How do I get into this? Really easy. nationalstol.com/chat. And that's how you get into it. Go in the Discord and talk to somebody like Red Baron or Nor Cali. Those two guys will help a lot.
I mean, we got race number 75, Byron Bowman in the 170B, the Cessna. In real life, for the national STOL competitions, the 170B is such a dominant airframe.
Yeah, it's actually one of the ones that, it had won so much that you guys had to actually move it to another class. And I know there was a lot of heated stuff when it came to that, a lot, some of the people didn't really want it moved, but you can't just have one aircraft that's going to win the entire time. So Victor Vosser from Poland, real life pilot as well. Another great guy to get a hold of if you're looking to get into STOL and you want to have an ambassador, a real pilot there. And he's just doing his regular grass mowing maneuvers.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like I see a Yokohama sponsor.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Did you see that? Do we have a pilot sponsored by Yokohama and we didn't know it yet?
Either it appears so, or he just had the logo applied there, because that was the real deal.
Ooh.
That's cool.
Ryan Runkle coming in the 172 tail dragger from Bagaloo. This is a freeware plane you can find on flightsim.to if you want to rip it in the simulator. I'm not familiar with Ryan Runkle. He must be a new person, which is something that we see every event. We see a ton of new people every event, and this is like the NCAA bracket, man. Every time we get a new person, there's always upsets. Almost every time.
Yeah. He might have been at the at Appalachian. I think he's got some points on the board for this year.
So you have a better memory than I do, and I would agree with you. Then he probably was at Appalachian. I still don't remember it, but he probably was.
Yeah, someone can fact check me on that. I think he scratched a couple of times. All right,
Tommy,
we've got Tommy.
Tommy, you can take that one, Cam.
I guess that's Pizer. I'm going to go for it. Race number 71 in the BBP Extreme X Cub, which is a beautiful looking aircraft. I mean, it looks like your typical Super Cub, but there's some things going on, especially in the tail area. They look a little different.
Yeah, I let you take that one, Cam, because I couldn't pronounce the last name. I don't know. I'm not good with the I's and the E's, I tell you, when it comes to spelling. I mean, so sorry I let you take that one. But you did a great job, because I think that's actually how you say it. That's a new plane, by the way, Cam. That's we just recently, we work with developers closely to let planes in the simulator, so that's a new one. And we got John Coughlin in the 170B. I think this is the Carenado 170B, actually. Or maybe not, actually. I'm not sure. Maybe he just got a really good livery on there. Maybe this is the Sal 1-800 170B. We'll have to get some clarification on that. I don't know. Someone in the chat knows, I'm sure. The pilots, they know everything.
Yeah, I do love that livery. It's a very cool aircraft. We saw it last time, and he was just blinking every time he'd come around base to final.
Oh, yeah, I remember you and I talking about that at the last event. And Cam, I just want to say thank you again for taking the time out of your day. I know you are currently at a real life fly-in event, charity event, and the fact that one of the things about real life aviation is most of the people I've ever met in real life aviation are just super, super generous, man. And so the fact that you're taking your time to hang out with us here in the flight simulator, I really appreciate it. And so everybody should be giving Cam a big round of applause, because this guy, he fell in love with eSTOL, you know what I mean? But his heart is in the real life stuff too. So he's got to kind of run both worlds there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Really appreciate you, Austin.
Cam, we appreciate you. So we've got green flag here. Red Baron is going to take off in his custom livery that he's been working on. And a nice takeoff from Red Baron. What else did we expect?
Yeah. Really like seeing that deck angle. I mean, he got up and he got out of there.
So the developer for the BBP Cub mentioned that, just for everyone's info, that is not actually the BBP Cub. That is the Easy Mods Extreme Cub, and there may have been a mishap with the naming and the registration, but it's very similar plane. I don't really think there's many differences between that one and the one that we named off there. Victor Vosser taking off that 170B like it's a glider.
And that was a takeoff of 129 feet. Byron Bowman was 158. I love seeing those big tires on that 172 from Ryan.
Yeah, this is a fun plane. Oh, he's got to get that nose down.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Runkle. There he goes. He's all right. Oh, that's a powerful plane, man. That 172, I didn't even get to see the takeoff because it was just such a wild, I mean, in the best possible ways, but that was great. Oh, he saves it. Oh my gosh, Cam, we almost saw a nose over today. You remember the last time we saw a couple nose overs? That was when we were live at Expo, man. And I'm telling you, the crowd, the only time we've ever had a crowd, a real life live in-person crowd with eSTOL, and they were going wild when those nose overs were going on. I mean, we don't really like to see them, but I guess if the crowd, if the crowd likes it, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. We got Ryan's takeoff was 337, and Tommy's takeoff was 139. See what John's going to do for us in the 170B.
Oh, you know what?
And the beautiful 170B. Yeah.
I think I made a mistake earlier. I think John Coughlin is the one that is the video game developer. Now that I look at his livery, it brought back the memory of seeing him post a picture of his livery, and I know what he looks like. I just couldn't think of his name. But yeah, I'm thinking I made a mistake earlier, which God forbid, I never make mistakes. But no, I'm joking. I do all the time. Yeah, so I think John Coughlin is actually the video game developer and not Chase Porter. The problem is I know all these guys by their online handles. I don't know what their real names are. You know what I mean? I don't. I'm think about how funny that would be. Right? Yeah, exactly. So if I'm telling you wrong, then Red Baron coming in, dropping it on.
Oh man,
the paint.
That was an awesome landing. I mean, like he almost touched the line, which of course we can touch the line here, but we can't touch it in real life.
No, actually, the rules have now are reflective of the real life events. So it's exactly the same. We now have to land over the line, but that has changed recently.
Okay, so
to reflect the real life. Yes.
It looks like you got a landing distance of 182.
Victor Vassar given a lot up there, and the bounce, guys. The bounce is something that you're going to see. It's not actually happening. The person flying that plane in the simulator, that's not actually happening. What's happening is there's a multiplayer, basically a disconnect there, where you're going to see sometimes an accidental a bounce there just from our camera guy's connection to Victor Vassar, and maybe because he's in Poland. A couple of our camera guys one's in Germany, one is in, I think, Denmark. I think Tom Race Control might have to correct me on where DeWert's from, but I think he's from Denmark. DeWert, Holland. Okay, Holland is where one of our guys are from, and then we have Vinny, who's here in the U.S. So one of the camera guys' connection to him, that's why it looks like that. But
looks like Victor was his landing distance of 122, so his combined total is 251.
And look at that!
Is that a scratch?
Giving up. No, he gave up. He gave up maybe like 35 or 40 feet on it, but man, he still got stopped really good in that 172. And I mean, his entry to the field there was just, I mean, I don't even. It looked like it was on a wire.
Stable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love to see those flaps drop down like that. Those flaps in this plane are like barn doors, man. I mean, look at those flaps. They curl right around, giving up a little bit of space as well. And we got a nose over. Oh, God, guys, give it up in the chat for the nose overs. We don't like to see them, but I know you guys do, so you might as well go wild in the chat there with the emotes. The rules on the nose over, guys, it's going to actually be a disqualification for that round. Yeah, for the heat. I mean, not round. So when you nose over, you actually are disqualified for the entire heat. So, unfortunately, Ryan is going to be disqualified for the heat. And now it's just to the 170Bs to duke it out. Yeah, when you damage your prop like that, it's, we like to keep it real here at National eSTOL. And so when keeping it real goes right, you kind of might bend your prop when you nose over like that. So we have to treat it as such. And so Ryan is unfortunately is out, but he also is the most popular with the chat right now.
I think that's Tommy. That's out. Ryan's in the 172.
Okay, yes. So Ryan Runkles, never mind, he's not out. He's in the 172. That is Tommy. I don't see Tommy's name. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. God forbid. Tommy Pizer. Tommy Pizer from Sandy, Utah, in the stock Easy Mods Cub is now out. But he would have had a great landing though. But unfortunately he's out.
It was one of the. I would have actually been one of the shorters.
I wonder if this is Tommy's first time in here. And you know what? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal that he nosed over. But it is unfortunate. He's going to have to come back next time. He's got 6 weeks to practice and work on that plane. But the plane was just approved. So, you know, it's one of the things where the guys haven't had a lot of time with it yet.
Yeah, you got to get practice. Just because it's a video game doesn't mean that it's not as difficult or more difficult than actually flying a real plane. A lot of guys that show up at the Sims at the real events, like just came in, flew around for a STOL competition, and then come into a simulator, can't perform like how they perform in an aircraft because it's a totally different environment. So,
yeah,
it's not a guarantee. There's no guarantees.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling. But and Cam, you're right. These guys practice like crazy. The guys and girls that are doing eSTOL, they practice like every day. I mean, you come out to one of these airports, because you guys in the chat, you can buy this airport. It's available in the official store. But you come out to one of these airports and you'll see names out here just all over the place.
Yeah. We got a warning issued for Ryan on his takeoff.
I imagine it was because he took off a little to the left like that over the line, so we try to keep him straight. But just a warning for Ryan now. I think that is going to result in
outside race course on takeoff. Just a warning.
Yeah, so there's no action taken coming from race control. There's no action taken on the warning there, but the warning is just to let the pilots know, hey, we got to keep her separated here. We got to keep you running down the runway.
Hey, you know what? I see that T-shirt. That's a very familiar T-shirt. I think I have one myself.
Oh, definitely. I have that shirt too. So you guys can actually buy this shirt. It's available on nationalstol.com, and just check out the merch section. And you can buy the shirt. I have it. I didn't wear it today. I'm wearing my Sodbusters shirt, but I literally only wear National eSTOL shirts. I mean, it's like I have about, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them now. I'm collecting them. But you guys can get your own National eSTOL shirts right on nationalstol.com. Please feel free to check out the website and get yourself your own. Little bit of a possible hard landing there, but nothing too bad. He still got his wheels, still got his landing gear intact, but he does get stopped. And as long as the judges rule that safe, that looks like a good landing. Byron Bowman with the 135-foot takeoff. That's the second best takeoff, next to Victor Wasser with a 129 in the first round, and a 125-foot landing, second best again to Victor Wasser in the first round, 122. So I mean, they're 6 points apart in takeoff and 7 points apart in landing. Victor and Red Baron are always duking it out, Byron Bowman and Victor Wasser. And I think that's gonna be called. He may get disqualified for that because his wing touched the ground. But we always have to be aware. There are sometimes disconnects, especially with people from further away. So it's hard to tell, but I think his wing did touch the ground there. We'll have to see. Cam, do you have any input on that? What do you think?
Actually, I was looking at scores and trying to get my screen adjusted, so I did not see that.
Well, what it looked like to me was his wing touched the ground. The only thing we'll have to find out. Okay, incident under review. So the judges are going to have to decide if that was something that involved multiplayer disconnect or if his wing actually touched the ground. I would not want to be them. but that's why they pay us to do this and not that, Cam, right?
Yeah, truth.
Giving up a little bit on the landing, coming in very fast. I mean, that's just. I gotta say,
He was cooking and guessing.
He had to be doing 120 coming in on the landing. I mean, if I was a police officer, I'd have had the radar out and whipping the lights on real fast because he was speeding in a slow zone here. But no, all jokes aside, really cool to see Ryan. I think this might be maybe his second competition, but Ryan did come in a little fast there. Got to give him a little guff for that. But
I don't know if that was a scratch or not by John, but man, that was very close.
Now those are the most interesting ones when they're close to the line. I mean, if a lot of times you see a scratch and you think, man, as a pilot, you'll think, man, I'm not doing good. But I think it's really worth noting that, to the newer pilots as well, when they're scratching, that just means that they're trying hard and they're doing their job. You know what I mean? And so just work on it. If you're a newer pilot and you find yourself making mistakes, just know that it's because you're trying so hard. In the best way possible.
Did scratch on that last landing.
Okay, so they called it a scratch with the wing touch. They called it a scratch. Okay, I like that better than a DQ because it keeps the drive alive between Victor and Red Baron.
But John's landing was rolled in, so that was a 140-foot landing. So for that round, his combined total is 290, which is second best for that round.
Red Baron digging the nose in. Hey, we got a sleeper down here. I didn't even notice this, Cam. John Coughlin with a 135-foot takeoff in the first round and then a 98-foot landing. I didn't even see that. So somehow, though, I'm adding this up here and something's not adding up right because the total. We need to actually take a look at the total for Victor Vassar's first one because it's not added together. It doesn't look like his takeoff and landing are added together because maybe I got to look at this different. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay, so John Coughlin is in first place.
Oh yeah.
And he's only got Victor by 18 points or so, 18 feet. But John's pretty new here. Victor's the veteran, 170 pilot. But I think John, like I told you guys earlier, everything I said earlier about Chase Porter being a numbers guy, being a developer, all that stuff, that was supposed to be accredited to John. So I think it goes to show that, John Coughlin, he's been practicing. He's a numbers guy. He knows what he's doing. I don't know why I thought Chase was him, but. So coming in from race control, we're going to allow Victor to compete again. Just in case, and then they're going to review the wing touch after and make a decision on it after the fact. But just to make sure, in case it was a good landing and he wouldn't get disqualified, we're going to let him go ahead and fly and get his numbers. And then after the fact, we're going to decide from the video evidence if his wing actually touched. So how is everybody in the chat doing? We got people on YouTube, we got people on Twitch. What are you guys up to today? How's everybody feeling about the MSFS 2024 release information? I mean, I know I'm stoked. Have you seen anything about MSFS 2024 yet, Cam? Because they just released the NDA the other day, so now everybody's talking about it, and we've got a ton of information.
I haven't seen anything. I saw your stream the other day, but I didn't really pick up on any of the information. So my knowledge is only as of the FS Expo.
Yeah, so there was a lot of good information at FS Expo, but so much more information is released now. I mean, all the different version informations, what planes are coming with what. So if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I am going to get the Premium Deluxe version. And I think my biggest question about that was the difference between the Aviator version and the Premium Deluxe. And the only difference is that the Aviator version is going to come with all the Microsoft 2020 like local legend planes, and I already have most of those, so I'm not going to pay the extra $70 for the Aviator version. I'm going to get the Premium Deluxe, and I think that's probably what a lot of people are going to do. I actually saw a poll on YouTube, and that Premium Deluxe version was the #1 version that people were getting. All right, we do have somebody coming in. This is Ryan Runkle. That might be a scratch. That is a scratch. That is a scratch.
Oh, man.
I wonder, Ryan's coming in. He's coming in very fast, and I wonder if he's just, not setting up his entry to the field or what. But I don't remember him flying in that fast last time. I think you said he was at Appalachian STOL. I don't remember anybody coming in that fast. I wonder if he's having issues today getting those flaps all the way down or what. But we'll have to talk to him after the race here and see what was going on, because he's coming in pretty fast. That's an interesting story that I need to know. Another scratch out of John.
Oh, man.
What is going on here, Cam? Did the wind die down? Did something change? Something must have changed here. If we see another scratch.
Looks like weather's pretty much the same, or really still close to it as of right now, but last weather report I'm looking at is from 27 minutes ago. And we've got to go around.
Yeah, Frankie Poops is talking about the Aviator Edition. Yeah, like I was saying, the Aviator Edition comes with the additional 30 Microsoft 2020 planes. I'm not going to get that one because I don't want the extra 30 2020 planes. So I'm going to get the Premium Deluxe version that doesn't come with the 30 extra Microsoft 2020 planes.
Yeah, I need to check all that out because I will be upgrading myself. I saw those prices out there, a little ridiculous.
I mean, $129. So, see, the problem is, Cam, we got to show you what all is coming with the sim, and then you probably will think the prices are not so bad. But still, It is expensive to get, it is expensive. I mean, we can't lie about that. Everything's expensive right now, especially if you're in America.
Mm-hmm.
So a nice landing out of Byron Bowman. And who's in the lead here? I think it's just going to be that first round from John.
Yeah.
So, man, we had a lot of DQs for that third run. Second round we had two. So it basically went 1, 2, 3. In the first round we had Tommy that DQ'd, but then we had Ryan. No, excuse me. Then we had Victor that. It's showing a DQ here. I wonder if they've reviewed already, but we'll kind of hold off on that just in case. Let's see here.
Speaking of which, he's coming in right now. You hold it off. All right, yeah. Shot the throttle. Probably gave up 75 feet, maybe 100 feet.
That's interesting that these guys are giving up that much, because I don't think I've seen Victor give up that much space in a long time. I wonder what's going on today.
All right, looks like that's a wrap on the class.
Yeah, wrap on that. It looks like John Coughlin's going to take the first place from Wisconsin, USA, cheese capital of the United States. 135 on his first takeoff and 98 foot on his first landing, and that's going to seal the deal for the backcountry class. Congratulations to John. I talked about him earlier, and I meant to say John, but I was talking about Chase, but it was John that I was talking about. But yeah, numbers guy. He's been practicing a ton. It just goes to show why he wins it. So John Coughlin, congratulations. And it looks like his best takeoff was even better than that, 119. But either way, you see the scoreboard there. It looks like we have a real good run here out of all the guys, but unfortunately not everybody can win. So congrats to John, and everybody else did a great job as well. Even though we saw a couple nose overs and stuff like that, I think it keeps it interesting. I am getting reports that a couple of the pilots have had a couple of frame issues. Maybe their PC's not running so hot. That's the kind of thing that happens. Going to commercial, guys. We'll be right back with some more eSTOL action. This summer's hottest competition, National eSTOL. Welcome back, Av Geeks and Stol Freaks, to eSTOL. This is going to be a new class coming up here. Looks like we have the... Ooh, is this the Spec class?
I think it's the Spec class.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's favorite class nowadays. The Spec class, I don't know. Spec class and Unlimited, I think they're both really interesting in their own right, because Spec class, you never know what you're going to get. It's exciting. It's a grab bag every time. I think today we're seeing the infamous plane that came out of nowhere, the Piper J3 from Classic Aircraft Simulations, a one-time sponsor of National eSTOL. When the plane first came out, I said, I got to get this guy into the National eSTOL. So we did a couple giveaways of the plane. I really, really like this plane. It's so, when you get in it in the simulator, it's just so it just feels so realistic. Even the way that you maneuver around the plane and interact with it is more like real life than most of the other planes that I've seen. So it's just a really cool developer, really cool plane. So make sure to check them out. But anyway, Sodbusters eSTOL. This class is presented by Got Friends. We have number 69, Cat Blue Flame. And everybody's going to be in the Piper today. Cat flying out of England. We have number 8, Ryan Runkle, flying out of Pennsylvania. Norcali J, a crowd favorite, coming out of Eureka, California. Zach Lobert from Cheeseland, Hartford, Wisconsin. And Brian Bowman out of Louisville, Kentucky. John Coughlin out of Wisconsin, USA. John Coughlin, the winner from the last round. So we already know he's going to be coming in hot. He's warmed up. He has had no time to ice down at all, but we know Cat's a heavy hitter. We know Norcali's a heavy hitter. Brian Bowman's a heavy hitter, and so this should be really, really interesting, guys. Make sure if you have a seatbelt, put it on now, because this is going to be a wild ride here.
We're about to have a lot of fun, especially in the J3. All these planes look really good too. It's a really good model.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, this plane is not as fast as other planes, so typically, you know, we have about 100. If you guys don't know this, you guys at home, when they're flying in the pattern, we have a plane leaving every 20 to 30 seconds, right? And they fly around a 3-minute pattern typically. But with this plane, it's a little bit slower, so they're going to have to tighten up the pattern, and I'm interested to see how closely they keep their patterns, because this is something that I don't think we've had this slow of a plane. So we definitely want to see them tighten up the pattern, and I know that the Air Boss has had them practicing and everything like that. So, and they've been practicing on their own. So we're going to see just some wild competition here with this J3 Cub. And I wonder if these guys all made their own liveries or not. Cat Blue Flame.
There's 69 Cat Blue Flame.
Cat Blue Flame in the pink National eSTOL Piper J3, and it's coming in from race control that DeWert, our camera guy, DeWert, made the livery. So looking real nice. Thank you, DeWert, for making the liveries. DeWert has been a big part of eSTOL since the very beginning, back even when it was just on my stream, when we were all just, back before we ever even thought that it would be something as big as it is now.
I don't know if you noticed, but that was that's a pink chrome. It's not just pink. Oh, yes. It's very shiny.
Got the pink chrome.
And here's race number 8, Ryan Runkle. We saw him in the last class, in the Bush class in the 172. Now he's in our Spec J3.
Ryan Runkle, number 8, as Cam just said. I don't know what we're going to see out of Ryan. He did good in the last, he did relatively good in the last competition there, or the last heat anyway, in the other class. So we should see some good work out of him. I want to know from the crowd, what does the chat think? Who do you guys think is going to take home this class? I want to know from the chat on the YouTubes and the Twitches all over the chat, guys. Tell me and Cam what you guys think. Who's going to win this round? Hands down, I want to see it. Now, Norcali J pulling up. I like his style. It's just a little not all the color, he's just, the man in black, I guess we can call him, the man in black and gray. NC Ferrum in the chat coming in from Germany. I know NC Ferrum from the community. I know he makes some modifications and stuff. So it's good to see people from the Flight Sim community, the mod community, coming in and hanging out and watching eSTOL. And if I remember right, NC Ferrum is one of the guys that was doing STOL on way like years ago with Stoyer. I think him and Stoyer were doing STOL together just on an airplane runway. We used to do it, Cam, before we had all this nice fancy stuff that Anov has built us in National eSTOL. We used to do it on football fields. So we'd find like a football field that was coming over from the satellite imagery, and we'd just stop and land on the football fields.
Okay, so I see where the actual markings from the field came from.
Yeah,
or at least the idea for that.
And not all of them show up super well, but a lot of them do. So we would stop anytime we saw a football field. So I had to take that back. Norcali's not the man in black. It's actually Zach Lobert. That's the man in black.
I don't know. That looks like the olive drab, almost kind of a old school throwback to the L4, I think, or L3.
Okay, I'm not seeing the green, but if you can see the green in that.
No, you're right. You're right. I see black on the top of the wing where there would be color, but I think the sides looked like the olive drab. Norcali did have the gray. I don't know. We'll have to look at that here in a moment again.
Barricus 250 coming in the chat. He was one of the competitors in the first round, the very first person to take off today in the Wilga. Barricus 250 saying hello all to the chat. And Byron Bowman coming in with his regular old colors, the red and black. Those are my favorite colors. NC Firm says, thinking if I bring the Suicide Fox to eSTOL. So I will say that's a modification out there to the Kit Fox. I will say that we've considered, we've not considered, but we've talked a little bit in the background about bringing in some one of the Kit Fox models, whether it be Air Packs or NC Ferrums, and it's something that we still have a lot to talk about. But if you're a developer and you have a plane that you want to get into our competition, all you got to do is reach out to me, reach out to ADK, one of us, and we'll have a chat, guys. If you're a developer and you want your aircraft in here, or if you want to advertise with us, there's a lot that can be done here. Just give me a shout. We'll talk about it, and we'd be glad to talk with any developers about getting their plane in here. No guarantees, but if you talk with us, we can work together. Byron Bowman, again, coming up here in the red and black Piper J3 Cub. I think he's rounding out the... No, we have one more behind Red Baron, and I love it how they stop here and kind of do their showing off. Now, they actually do this at the real eSTOL events, and I did camera on the 100-foot line. And I think that was my favorite part about it was, I guess, I don't know why that would be my favorite part about it, but somehow it was, right? We have planes flying around and landing and taking off. But for some reason, I loved getting the shots when they stopped and just, getting that nice shot along the body of the plane and trying to show off the planes. I think that was my favorite part about the camera. And rounding out the pack, we've got John Coughlin in the white and black Piper J3.
Giving us a good brake check there.
Oh yeah, they must have tightened up the brakes on this thing. I wonder if there is a modification for this Piper J3 that's out. Oh no, this is it. This is the Bush modification. So this has actually been added by Classic Aircraft Simulations. We have a little tail wagging going on there by John Coughlin saying hello to the chat with his rudder there. John Coughlin. Scopalicious said Stoyer is the guy to watch in Unlimited today. He's been on fire in the new Cub all throughout its development in the last week of practice. Scopalicious, I know Scopalicious is slick. He knows his stuff, so we might be watching a battle between Stoyer and Cat today. In the Unlimited class. But that being said, I don't know who else is in the Unlimited class today because we still got to get to that class yet. But right now, we are on the Spec class with the Piper J3 Cub. We have a green flag, and we're going to see takeoff here in just a second. Brought to you by Got Friends. Got Friends, one of the best aircraft developers in the simulator. Those guys have put in the work. The group of 4 from all over the world, really, met for the first time at Flight Sim Expo, and now that all the NDAs are lifted and we could talk about it, congrats to those guys. Now partnered with Microsoft Flight Sim, building us, from what I can see, 4 new planes for the flight simulator. And we have takeoff here from Cat, getting off the ground in what seemed to be about 150 or so. Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, this is, J3 is going to perform a certain way compared to what she's normally in, and we used to seeing a lot shorter numbers, but I think you're right on that. It's going to be actually looks like we've got a number of 236 for Cat.
Oh, 236. Okay, way longer than I thought, but and a little bit longer than Cat there. So this is looking like maybe 300. Now remember, guys, this plane doesn't have any flaps. This plane is just, it's one of those very early Bush planes. It doesn't have a whole bunch of power. This is just classic, raw old-fashioned bush right here. This is kind of where it all started. That Cub model is just a time-tested model, whether it be the real life or the simulator. It is just one of the best models, and that's why you'll see a lot of planes that are Cubs flying around. And I always used to wonder that. Why is there so many Cubs? Well, because it's just such a proven model that people build on that.
Yeah, this is the predecessor for the Super Cub, which you see in Alaska and like on all the TV shows that are the bush flying shows. The most prevalent plane is probably going to be the Super Cub. This was the Super Cub's grandfather, the training version of the J3.
Takeoff there from the man in black. I think that was Ryan.
Actually,
I'm on the wrong class here.
That's Zach with a takeoff of 219.
So Zach Lobert out of Hartford, Wisconsin.
So NorCali and Zach have just given us a little bit shorter distances than Kat. So I know she's going to come back with that cat scratch fever, and I'll allow that to continue.
Yeah, maybe she'll put some cat food in someone's shoes. Byron Bowman a little wacky on the takeoff there, getting a little zany once he got up in the air, but he did seem to get her under control. And another great takeoff there. That looks like it might be the shortest takeoff, guys. We might have the shortest takeoff right now. The shortest takeoff is 219 feet by Zach Lobert. I think John just pulled off shorter than that.
John, yeah. Let's see.
Oh, the number just
so
came
very close.
in. 220, Cam. What are we saying here? 1 foot difference between Zach and John Coughlin. Oh, man. So you're going to see an interesting landing here. This is what's called a slip or a forward slip, I guess. Race control might have to correct me on that, but it looks like we're seeing slips coming in here because they don't have any flaps, right? So the only thing they can do is they can turn their body into the body of their plane into parasite drag by kicking that rudder sideways and getting rid of that speed that way, right? Because they don't have flaps. Cat comes in what looks to be a controlled landing until we got down to the end there. Maybe one of her foots slipped off of the brake.
But yeah, like what you were saying with the slip, like these aircraft that don't have. Hold on. Cat Blue Flame issued a warning for not stopping in line with runway. Okay. So she stopped and her nose was not in line with the runway, not center line with the runway or parallel with the runway. But like you were saying, a slip for these aircraft, they're going to, if they're too high or if they're trying to drop altitude too fast or faster, then they're going to have to go into a slip. Looks like we got some squirrely work going on right now from Ryan and a go around from NorCali.
NorCali is time tested. He's a true veteran of this series. He is an eSTOL ambassador, which means he's one of the guys that will help out with new pilots and his flight sim stream. You can check him out at It's NorCaliJ, twitch.com or twitch.tv/It's NorCaliJ. And he's a great help, man. NorCali has really been a great help with promoting and helping out the new pilots coming into eSTOL. And that's probably part of the reason why we see a lot of the new pilots do so well. And we do have another nose over from the man in black. Oh, so man.
DQ,
and that's a wooden prop. That's a wooden prop. So we know that probably just got eaten up by the ground. And that's going to be a DQ. So a DQ, our first DQ, our first nose over here in the Spec class, Byron Bowman coming in, giving up quite a bit on the landing, trying to get it stopped. He's going to get it stopped just over the halfway. Zach Lobert is the one. Zach Lobert out of Wisconsin is the one that just nosed over. Don't worry, everybody. He's all right. We do have word from the pilot. He's all right. He's fine. A little shaken up and kind of mad about his prop, but he'll be all right. And actually what's interesting is this plane, so we all know that Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't have a damage model, right? We see another go around there for safety. Great job. We know that Microsoft Flight Sim doesn't have a damage model, but some of the developers will put in their own damage model. And so Classic Aircraft Simulations has added in gear braking, right? And prop braking. So if you land too hard, your gear is going to break. If you nose over, your prop is going to break. So the pilot actually experiences that when they land too hard or when they nose over.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And so we definitely had a broken prop there. And we're on board here with the back of John Coughlin's plane. We have Red Heron on the cameras, just doing a beautiful job following around in our drone.
You can see John working the rudder from that back view. So he's going to put that aircraft into a slip. Since he doesn't have any flaps, it's going to drop altitude. So he's stepping on the right rudder, and he's got his left aileron down.
Don't see a ton of slip.
All the way to the green. Oh,
another
man.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
These guys are not used to flying a plane without flaps, and we'll see who really practiced during the 6-week break between the last competition. Of course, now they didn't find out probably until last week, maybe 2 weeks at the most is what we give them to practice in these spec planes. We purposely do that, right? We don't want to release it too early to give them, all the time in the world. We kind of want to shake it up a little bit. So we usually give them about a week to 2 weeks to practice. They know what the plane's going to be at least a week beforehand. But still, this is a hard plane to master. The crowd's already commenting on the slipping. Super Tom says, slipping it down in competition is something else. He loves to see that. We're going to have to see who's the best slipper here. And somebody commented earlier. Who's that? Cinderella?
Slippy Toad. Slippy Toad from Star Fox.
I've never watched it. Do I got to watch it?
I know that's a video game, like Star Fox from Super Nintendo and 64.
Gosh. You're bringing back the memories, brother. I used to have that game.
Yeah, man, it's one of my favorite, like one of the flight sims I've ever played on, if you want to call it a flight sim.
Yeah, no, I remember it vividly. I rented it. So I never actually bought it. I never actually owned it. I rented it and probably had, hundreds of dollars worth of late fees like I did with every other thing. I'll tell you what, I'm glad they got rid of physical renting because I probably paid more for late fees than I do my house payment now. A little exaggeration, but I mean, I tell you what, I still have late fees at multiple different locations that are now defunct and closed down, so thank God. I don't want to pay that money back. No, I'm joking. Ryan Runkle taking off of the J3 Cub. What do we got for scores here, Cam? I feel like we've been so inundated with nose overs and things that we haven't even been paying attention to the scores.
Well, looks like the last takeoff from Cat was 238. We got Ryan Runkle with 290. North Cali is on the way right now with 219, or I'm sorry, correction, 218. But right now, total, Cat is in the lead right now. Cat Blue Flame. With North Cali in second, Byron in third, and Ryan in fourth place.
Nice takeoff from Byron Bowman there. Byron Bowman taking off in the J3 Cub. Another maneuver that we've been seeing here is kind of that really high nose up attitude, and that's another way to kind of turn your wing into a flap when you don't have flaps, but that can end up dangerous depending on how high you go nose up. So, these pilots know that if they don't keep it safe, if they don't land correctly, they're going to get disqualified. So, some of the higher nose up attitudes, especially in a plane like this that doesn't have a lot of extra power, is not going to work out too good. But you probably will see Kat here. She rides the line of everything she does. And so you probably will see Cat here coming in with a nose up. Another great camera angle from Red Heron. Red Heron, man, he does cameras all over the simulator. I tell you what, he does cameras for a couple different streamers. I've seen him out there in Flights with Joel's stream, doing cameras for his stream, and he does some of the best work in the simulator right here. Of course, we're getting a little glare from the sun on Cat's. It wouldn't be Cat if we didn't have a chrome sun glare livery on her Piper J3. She is just, I mean, she's a shining star. Let's just say she is definitely a shining star. Cat's getting real low to the ground. And like I said, you're going to see that nose up attitude from her. And
she's
comes in on the right wheel. But as I mentioned, you know, we know with this plane, if she lands too hard, the gear is going to break. So I wouldn't imagine that could be any kind of disqualification there for landing on the right wheel like that. That's okay. You know, you can kind of, as long as you're close enough to the ground, 5-10 feet from the ground, you know, a lot of these pilots will try to kind of stall the plane onto the ground. It's a little harder to do without flaps. So I like Cat's style on that landing. I don't know what her score is looking like. Looks like she's in first place now. And I like her, the way she did that. She came in low and held it off the ground as long as she could, and that's probably going to be the best way to do it. Because you see the pilots here, they're struggling. It is just so uncommon nowadays to not have flaps. And so, you know, STOL, I mean, you're known for using those flaps. You know, that's one of the biggest things in STOL flying, backcountry flying, is using those flaps. And so when they're coming in, they're trying to come in as slow as possible, right? They want to stop as quick as they can. And if you guys are new to STOL, the whole point of eSTOL and the whole point of STOL is to see, you know, who can land the shortest and take off the shortest, all while being safe, all while keeping a safe attitude and everything else. So it looks like we have a little bit of a runway excursion there from Norcali. So he probably will get DQ'd for that. I think that's going to be... I think that's 3 disqualified already. This is a tough challenge. That's why we do the spec class, guys, because we want to see what these pilots have. We want to see how much they can practice in their particular planes. And you know, this is an interesting class because it really gives everybody a fair playing field. No one's doing anything different. They're all flying in the same plane. And I love the aspect of both worlds of this. I love the spec, and I also love the the classes where they're flying different planes against each other. So Super Tom is just telling me over on the Twitch that Who Can Do, one of my freaking best friends in the flight sim world, man. That guy, I got a chance to meet him, gambled with him and Two-Tone Murphy and the Norcali there you just saw on the runway. We had a great time at Expo, but I hear he's watching with 60 viewers right now over on Twitch. So I want to give a big shout out to the Who Can Do community. And guys, I mean it when I say it. If it wasn't for Kando, I probably never would have found out about STOL, because I was actually looking around on Twitch for, because I'm a former helicopter pilot in training. I was looking around for something fun to do, but I was looking for helicopters, you know, and I saw that guy, you know, the red hair, the beard, the mustache. I was like, who the heck is this guy? And so I popped into his stream. I don't think I would have popped into anybody else's stream if they weren't flying a helicopter, but Kando caught my attention. So it's one of the big reasons why I got interested in this in the first place and wanted to start the STOL stuff. So shout out to the Candonians. Hey guys, you guys are freaking one of the best communities out there in the bush flying, and we appreciate you guys for watching. And thanks to Super Tom for letting me know. So if you're not hearing the sound from the J3 Cub, it seems as if there's some kind of issue with multiplayer sound with it right now. I never knew that, but I guess the J3 Cub doesn't work with multiplayer sound. So we're kind of just finding that out. I didn't realize that the sound didn't work. But so if you're wondering where the heck is the beautiful sound, it's gone. It's nowhere. It doesn't exist, I guess.
Well, You can look up the on YouTube what a J3 sounds like with a A65 engine.
Yeah, what is it, like
It's very,
65 horsepower?
65 horsepower, yeah. No electrical, so no lights, no starter. Everyone's out there. In real life, you would be out there hand propping your engine.
Yeah, you can
Hopefully, you
actually
have.
hand prop this version too. The developer did such a good job with it. And here we are on
Okay.
board with another Red Heron Cam special of Cat Blue Flame in the pink livery, making her turn here, looking just majestic and beautiful as ever. But yeah, so this plane, I mean, it has a lot of good features. If you're in the flight simulator and you want something that's is a little slower, but I'll tell you what, a lot of great features with this plane. You can hand crank it. Like I said, it has braking prop feature. It has braking gear. Not that you want to break the gear in the prop. We want you guys to fly safe out there, even in the simulator. But it is pretty interesting the first time you land it and find out that the gear will break if you land too hard. And I like this aspect for eSTOL because, right now we don't really have a way of telling what their landing rates are. But I tell you what, soon we're going to have some information on that. There's going to be some really cool technology coming to.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
did she scratch? No, she landed over the line.
Yes.
Okay. Great landing for Cat. But yeah, we have some really cool technology coming to eSTOL where we're now going to be able to see what their landing rates are and some other cool features. We can't talk about this too much because we don't have a release date for this, but I know that it's probably going to be coming pretty soon where we're going to be able to tell all this kind of stuff about all these different data points about the pilots while they're flying. So it's going to be great. I can't wait till it comes. Not to say that any of the pilots are landing too hard, etc. I mean, most of them do a really good job, but it'll be another interesting aspect to be able to watch and keep track of while you're watching eSTOL. So
Is we're we're not transitioning over to 2024 when it comes out directly, are we? Or is it? Or
well,
do you have information?
we were kind of up in the air about that, and I know for at least this season we're going to be on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and just kind of with all the news that came out, we know that everything should transfer over. I know Anov has nobody has really access to the new SDK or what you would build like a scenery in,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
for lack of time, I guess I would just say that most things are going to transfer over seamlessly, and then they can be upgraded to the flight sim and just have more features added. But I think
Okay.
we'll stick on 2020 until the end of this season, and then we'll kind of have to go, we'll talk to the pilots. We do make sure we can, confer with all of our pilots before we make any giant decisions like that. But I think, man, 2024 is going to be so good. Even the people that are saying that they're not going to switch, they're going to switch. Give it a week. They're going to see everybody on Twitch. They're going to see the Burstix TV, the It's Norcali J, the Kando Flight Sim group flights. They're going to see us doing the missions, the career stuff, and they're going to be like, you know what? I know I said I wasn't going to switch, but they're going to switch. Everybody's going to switch. Come on. I mean, I get it though. It's money, but we have known about it for quite a long time. So I will give you this hint. Summer's almost over, but the snow will soon be flying all over America. And, shovel a couple driveways if you don't have the cash, and bam, there you go.
Man, that's something that I've never been able to do down here is shovel any driveways for money. Not in
Yeah, how often do you
Arkansas.
get snow down where you're at?
Probably twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, and it's always a light dusting that
Melts right away.
well, it doesn't melt right away. We get ice storms more than we get snow, honestly. But yeah, that little bit of snow, just a light dusting, shuts down everything. So
Yeah, you'd think, being here in Michigan, people would be. Looks like we have a really nice landing out of Red Baron. Gave up a little bit.
it's a really nice stabilized approach. I want to say, like when I was talking, looking at it, I was like, man, that is student pilot like dreams right there. Just everything is hunky dory and fresh.
Yeah, Red Baron is an A&P mechanic, licensed, and a student pilot. Almost got his private pilot license. But I was going to say, that is the end of the class. So before we go to the end of the class, I'll quickly say you'd think that, me being from Michigan, we get a lot of snow here in the winter. You'd think that we're all like perfect drivers in the snow. Well, that's not the case. Every single year, the first time we get any speck of snow on the road, there's 20 cars in the ditch on I-75, and I can't say I've never been one of them. I did hit a blind snowdrift going through some back roads. There was a field, and I hit a 6-foot snowdrift that I couldn't even see because it was such a whiteout. But I've never actually went off the road on the first snow, though. I can say that. So, Sodbusters eSTOL, the Spec class in the J3 Cub from Classic Aircraft Simulations. eSTOL today brought to you by DOF Reality. If you want a good price on a full motion simulator, go to dofreality.com, use code STOL, and you can get yourself a full motion simulator. This class brought to you by Got Friends. The winner, not too much of a surprise, Cat Blue Flame, coming in second place. One of the eSTOL ambassadors, NorCali, big help in eSTOL with second place. So Cat 362 total, NorCali J 404 total, Byron Bowman, another eSTOL ambassador, 624 foot altogether for third place. Ryan Runkle coming in last place, fourth place as with 784, and we did have 2 disqualifications in that class. Looks like John, the winner of the last round, John and Zach did disqualify. I think those were both the nose overs. So although it's great to see the nose overs for the crowd, we do have to disqualify them. And, just like in real life, if you nose over, a lot of times your prop is going to end up having issues, or at least you have to check it out to make sure it's still good. And so we have to disqualify them. But it's still interesting to see that kind of stuff. And take a look at that. The National eSTOL trailer. This is the exact same. It's an exact replica of the trailer that we have in real life. And we actually pulled this trailer right into Flight Sim Expo. It was crazy. The guys working there were shaking their heads. They were like, man, you're not bringing that in here. And we're like, well, we have to. So we are bringing it in here. And then we backed it right inside of the building at Flight Sim Expo and commenced one of the coolest things I've ever seen, eSTOL competition in person. It was great.
Yes, the USA Trailers Direct.com trailer.
But I can tell you this, we're going to go to a commercial, but I want to say one thing. If anybody from Microsoft's watching, we will switch over to 2024 as soon as we can test it and approve it for eSTOL. So hint to Microsoft, if anybody over there is watching, get us a copy as soon as you guys can. We'll test it. And then we want to get this over to Flight Sim 2024. The hype is real. I can't wait to see that game come out. So if anybody's listening, man, get us a copy. We'll test it out and we'll get over to Microsoft 2024 as soon as possible. And we'd love to bring it over there. But going to commercial, guys. Talk to you guys in a minute. Unlimited class coming up.
Hey, it's Trent. Fly low, don't die. Come be my wingman and join in the adventure. Now available in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace on PC and Xbox.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sodbusters eSTOL competition here in Hartford, Wisconsin. And we are now to the final class, the Unlimited class. Some say it's the best class in the history of the country. Some people might even say it's the best class in the history of the world. Right now we're looking at Pete. And Pete is a sponsored eSTOL pilot, sponsored by Parallel 42. Looks like Parallel 42's got a new plane in the works. I don't know exactly what plane it is. Somebody in chat might know that, though. Fill me in if anybody knows what the plane is that Parallel 42 is working on. But big shout out to Parallel 42, man. They're coming up with some technology that's going to help out eSTOL massively and make it much more interesting, because the viewer will now have landing rates and all this other information to be able to see while we're watching these pilots here. So Cam, I'll let you take it away and introduce the pilots for the Unlimited.
Our next group for Unlimited, presented by the Flight Sim Expo. We've got race number 88, Pete C, in the 2024 Kit Fox Series 5 from the UK. NorCali in race number 22 in the 2020 Savage Carbon from California. Race 33, Zach Lober in the 2023 Monster NX Cub from Hartford. Race number 99, Luke Carrier in the 2000 Zenith 701 from Waynesville, Ohio. Race number 69, Cat Blue Flame, one of my favorites, in the 2000 Zenith 701 from Great Britain. Race number 19, Rico Stewart from 20.
I think Cam's voice is cutting out, guys. I think he was just finishing up saying Rico Steuer in the BBP Extreme from Leipzig, Germany. Now, we do have a home team player here from Hartford. I'm just realizing this. It looks like Zach is actually here from Hartford, Wisconsin. So I want to hear from Zach on, he's probably been to this airport. I want to hear from him how close the scenery is to the actual airport. We do have a few more people in the Unlimited class, as usually it is the most competed in class. Looks like a new pilot here, number 111, Sarah Eggleton in the Kit Fox. We have 91, Philip Bonesley. Looks like another new flyer here, 91. Always new flyers coming in, guys. If you want to compete, over there to the all the Candonians, if I know you guys are good at Bush, so I want to do an open invite here to any of the Candonians watching. Get in here, guys, and compete. nationalstol.com/chat. And I'm still waiting for Kando. I want to see Kando compete at least one time as a cameo. I know he's like the STOL Grandmaster. 90, number 303, Charlie Gordon, 2015 in the Easy X Cub SS. And we have Patrick Bodie, or Body, in the Zenith CH-701 from Iowa. Charlie being from Brodalbin, New York. I'm probably butchering those names, but looks like that whole page was about 5 new people. And I swear, man, every time new people join in the competition, they end up winning. I don't know if it's like, like when you're playing poker and you got that beginner's luck or what, but I mean, it usually happens. So we have a couple people in the Twitch chat over on Burst 6 TV. It looks like NC Ferrum is rooting for Stoyer. Stoyer for the win. And NC Ferrum also filled us in on what Parallel 42 is making. The plane that Parallel 42 is working on is the Super Patriot Mark II. So good, that's interesting. We'll have to take a little time to look at that later. Racing Asian in the chat on the Twitch, the Burst 6 TV Twitch channel says it's Nor Cali for the win. So introducing number 88, Pete, one of the very few sponsored pilots here, sponsored by Parallel 42.
Oh, that's their
Parallel
answer
42.
To your answer, or their answer to your question.
Yeah, Cam was pointing out that Parallel 42 was just answering right there. It's the Patriot Mark II. So we're getting answers all over the board here. But beautiful cool livery done actually by Parallel 42. And we're going to see some great action here. Look at the missing cowl on that. And that's by design. Parallel 42, one of the very first developers to take life by the horns and get us, a competition plane, strictly built for the competition here at National eSTOL. So we love to see that from developers. Parallel 42 being one of the very first. And although we couldn't talk about it at the time, we now know that Got Friends was also working on some pretty cool stuff. As you noticed from Kando's stream, there was a couple National eSTOL stickers and things in the background. So we know that Got Friends was also working on the Norden. We just couldn't talk about it, but now we can because all the NDAs are lifted. So a couple great developers there, Got Friends and Parallel 42, making planes that can compete in our competition and hopefully take home some wins. Introducing number 22, Nor Cali J, in the Savage Carbon. Now, I watch Nor Cali stream, and I know a lot of times I'll hear Nor Cali saying he doesn't really care too much about winning. He has won in the past. He won his very first competition. He just wants to fly the Carbon. But I think I know I've seen him talk a couple times about maybe switching out planes next year to something a little more competitive. I mean, the Carbon is competitive, but it can't really keep up with the 701. But I do have some information on the 701, okay? We are doing a little more work with SWS and Justin Tisdale to get the 701 a little more dialed in to what it would be in real life. So we're working with National STOL, historical numbers on the 701, and we're going to dial that thing in, maybe dial it back a little bit, and get that thing more evened out. But I think we're going to see some great competition here with the new entry to eSTOL, the BBB Cub or the Easy Mods Extreme. Two different planes, but I think we're seeing two people fly those today. The Monster NX Cub, Zach, here from Hartford, Wisconsin, our hometown flyer, in the Got Cheese livery. See all the stickers there from the events in the past that he has competed in. As an eSTOL pilot, we have Barricus actually makes us all of these stickers, so that way the pilots can put them on their planes and their liveries. And it's very much like in real life, where you see pilots adding things to their livery over time. These guys do the same thing, which is another interesting point and why you should join in to the National eSTOL competitions. This Monster NX Cub was built by Got Friends, and it was actually a regular Asobo plane, and then they spiffed it up a little bit, maybe a lot of it. Luke Carrier coming in, number 99 in the CH-701 from SWS. This plane has by and large been the number one competing plane, and we added in a new plane today. We've talked about it a couple times. I just talked about it a little bit ago, but we're going to see that new plane, I think, going to really compete today. So it isn't going to be the 701 show today. I'm calling it right now. I'm thinking it's going to be the 701 and BBP or Easy Mods Extreme SS. So those are two different planes, but they're very similar. And I think we're seeing one of each of those fly today. And the 701s are not going to just walk the field today.
You don't think the 701s are just going to come in and just take it?
No, I don't think so. NC Ferrum in the Twitch chat saying Draco X from Got Friends. Oh my gosh. Dude, did you see that? No, Cam, you haven't seen anything about 2024 yet. Well, since all the NDAs have been lifted. Speaking of Parallel 42 over on the YouTube says Jonk says hello. So I don't know if they're together in person, but that's awesome, man. Seeing those two developers get together, whether they're watching it together in a party on Discord or what, we say hello to Jonks as well. And we want to say we're like super excited for the Draco X. And I'm telling you, I was not excited for that until I saw it. And I'm like, no, because I'm not super big into turboprops. But man, when I saw it, I was like, no way, that's it. Kat coming in, doing a little bit of tail wagging, saying hello, making sure her flight surfaces are all working correctly. Coming in the pink, sponsored by CRZ Studio. Kat is just waiting for the Chinook, which is not a helicopter in this case. It's a plane flown by Dan Reynolds in the real world, but it might as well be a helicopter. I've actually seen Dan in Louisiana. I've seen him fly next to a helicopter, and he was actually... it was so windy, he was actually going straight up and ascending faster than the helicopter next to him was. So really interesting. And we have number 19, Rico Stoyer in the BBP Extreme. Now this is the one, guys. This is the one to watch. We already have predictions in the chat that from Scopalicious, who helped in big part develop this plane, along with Easy Rider. And I even had a little part in this, getting the brakes figured out, and getting the contact points figured out so we don't have nose overs. It looks like this is the new entry, so watch for this plane, guys. This is going to be the one that's going to compete with the 701, and I think it's going to take it today. But if Kat has anything to say about that, she'll be putting cat food in everybody's shoes, and they'll be distracted and probably won't be able to win. So Entpro in the Twitch chat talking about, and I love seeing this, guys, by the way. Entpro talking about he remembers way back when the NX released, it flew all over Australia and had so many tail strikes because he flew it like a regular tail dragger. So it takes time to get used to that, Entpro. So we do have a green flag. And somebody in the YouTube said Zach assisted Anov with the scenery by taking photos and sending them to Anov so that Anov could get this even more correctly. So that's awesome, man. Zach is pursuing his PPL, flies a 33 and a Cessna 150 out of Hartford, Wisconsin. So our hometown flyer today is Zach in the Got Cheese livery, real life pilot, and helping out here, making this eSTOL scenery happen, or helping make it happen with Anov. We thank you, Zach. And whoever posted that, I imagine it's one of Zach's family members who do watch him regularly fly here. So big shout out to Zach's family, man. I appreciate you guys being so supportive of him, and that's probably why he's getting so close to his PPL, because he's got a supportive family. NorCali 22, number 22 taking off in the Carbon. Experienced pilot right there. This guy knows what he's doing. So, Cam, we got Zach Lobert pulling up to the line in the NX Cub. Now, I've long waited to see the NX Cub win because it does have nitrous. Well, the Monster NX Cub, anyway. And, you know, you can really land it a lot quicker or a lot shorter than many of the tail draggers because of the nose gear configuration. But, again, they're going against the 701, which has, by and large, been the number one plane here. Cam, are you gonna say, what do you think, 701 or Monster NX Cub or BBP? What are you thinking here? I think Cam might be muted, or he might be having a connection issue. But it looks like we had a connection issue. There we go.
701.
701. He's gonna call it 701. I in the back of my mind, I'm thinking the same thing, but I do want to see some upsets here, like an NCAA bracket, baby.
Yeah.
Cat Blue Flame just bouncing the tail off the ground, almost touching again. Now, we saw this last time from Cat. Cat was like almost deathly ill the last time she competed. I heard her voice. She could barely even talk. I think this is her new style, though. I think she's, like I said, Cat rides the line on everything she does, and so she's pulling so early. She's not even really flying yet, and that's why she's coming back down and almost touching the ground. But if she doesn't touch the ground, it's not going to be counted as a disqualification. So she's really, really riding the edge there. Rico Stoyer taking off in the BBP. Let's see here. What do we have for the takeoff there? I'm trying to pull up the right. Oh, there we go. So that is the shortest takeoff. So already we see the BBP Cub taking on the heavy hitter in the 701. Ooh, very, very nice stop. Wow. Pete, I don't know what to say there. I don't think I've ever seen Pete even stop that short, and he gave up a little bit, so there's a lot of room to improve right there for Pete, but still one of the shortest landings we've seen out of the Kit Fox. I think Pete's really getting that thing dialed in. 75 feet on the landing, and before that, 72 feet on the takeoff. NorCali J rocking an 82-foot takeoff. Luke Carrier with a 57-foot takeoff in the 701. Cat with a 61-foot in the 701. Rico with a 59-footer in the Extreme. And actually, that was not the BBP. That was...
Ooh, NorCali's almost held it off, but there's a scratch from NorCali.
A little bit of a scratch there. We see the slip out of the NX Cub. I don't see the flaps, though. Where are the flaps? There he goes. I feel like that plane's got enough power where he could have had the flaps in, halfway through the pattern, but I guess he's... And it could
really
be a multiplayer thing.
Yeah.
Right. It could be a multiplayer thing, too. It's really hard to tell sometimes. But dropping it in, Zach Lobert, and really getting on the brakes there. Using the
500 or 100 feet, sorry.
100 feet, says Cam. Luke Carrier getting his flaps in as well.
It's going to be 131 for Zach, sorry.
Oh, no problem. You see the nose come up there. It looks like we have a scratch from Luke Carrier. It's officially called under review, but I'm going to go ahead and call it right now with 99.9% accuracy. That was most likely a scratch. I saw the tires hit before the line. So Kat is probably shaking in her cat boots right now because she saw the entrance of the BBP, and now we have, the Parallel 42 Kit Fox, which we're seeing Pete really come in. I kind of forgot about that because, I was so excited about the new entry of the BBP. But, man, Pete, with that landing and that takeoff, that's going to be hard to beat. And a scratch from Cat, barely even taking up any space to stop. But, unfortunately, in eSTOL and in regular STOL, when you land before the line or on the line, you are getting Cat scratch fever in Cat's case. All right, Rico Stoyer coming in the infamous new BBP. Can we get an answer on that? What does BBP stand for, guys? I have no clue.
We almost had a nose over.
Holding it off from the nose over. Stopping just around 95 feet or so. NC Ferrum from the Twitch chat says, fingers crossed for Stoyer. Barricus chiming in says, wow, that was close. All right, now, so the wind, Cam, we must have a little bit of a crosswind here because you see the pilots now pulling up with that little bit of stance there, pointed off to the left of the runway.
Yeah.
And what they're doing here, guys, is they're trying to get their plane pointed into the wind. And you'll see, if you pay attention to the flaps on Pete's plane, that Kit Fox there has around 250 horsepower or so. And so basically it's much more lightened up without the cowling, without the doors. And you're going to see the goal of this type of takeoff is to just leave the flaps down the entire time, because he knows he's got enough power to just pretty much take off up into the air.
All right, race control telling us that Luke scratched that last run. But Pete,
so Luke Carrier,
amazing 57-foot takeoff.
let me see, Luke Carrier, was that the scratch? I think, yeah, that was the scratch from Luke Carrier, and it looks like a scratch for, so far we have scratches from NorCali, Cat Blue Flame, and Rico Stoyer. Another great takeoff from NorCali J, 79 foot, besting his last takeoff by 3 feet. And it looks like Pete shaved a lot off of his takeoff as well in that parallel 42 competition. Kit Fox shaved off about 15 feet, take it down from 72 to 57. Zach Lobert, what do you think that was, Cam? Just around 100 feet, or was that closer to?
Man, that was. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to say 100 feet.
Well, that's why we have the professionals to measure this stuff for us.
It's like 9 feet. That is definitely why we have the professionals, because the parallax is destroying me right now.
So you'll see Luke Carrier taking off a little bit after the line. If you're wondering why, it's because he pulled up too far and they're not allowed to back up, right? We can't spend the time to back up, so they know this. When they pull up to the line, they need to stop on it. If they go above, forward, past the line, they've got to just take that hit and go to town, because we need a planes going off every 20 to 30 seconds. And that keeps the show going. That keeps the gas in the tank. And it looks like he did drop back down, so what they're going to count that from is the last time the main gear, which in the case of the 701 will be the rear gear, the 2 gear in the back. Cat coming back down again, playing the roller coaster game here in the 701, riding the line, but she's off in the sky and she does not touch back down. So it looks like she's perfecting that method, because we saw last time she did touch down last competition, but looks like this time she's perfected it. We're going to see
7 feet compared to 59 feet from her last run, so she's getting it down.
And we do have a cameo guest appearance in the chat. One of the best German Microsoft Flight Sim YouTubers, Andy Ainer TV, coming in on the Twitch chat over on Burstix TV. Welcome in, my man. We appreciate you stopping in today, and it's always good to see other content creators and things like that watching this, because that's what it's all about, man. It's all about getting the community together.
Yeah, Rico Stoyer with a 58-foot takeoff. I mean, that takeoff looked a lot shorter than 58 feet from where I was standing.
So Rico Stoyer with a 58. It was 7 foot longer. Ooh, that may be either a warning or a disqualification or a scratch. I don't know how they're going to call that. We're going to have to wait to see how they call that.
It all happened so fast.
So it looks
like it was good.
Yeah, they're going to give Pete the 39 foot. 39 foot. So he's probably going to be in the lead with that. 96 total. Those are the scores we look to see in the unlimited class. Oh, look at that. NorCali just plopping it right down, not giving up really anything there in the Carbon Cub. And, NorCali knows in the Carbon Cub he doesn't have a lot of extra power. He doesn't have a lot of extra, stopping power or taking off power. So he knows that he's got to be perfect. He knows he's got to land it right on or just after the line, and he did that. So that would be the way for NorCali to win, would be to be a sniper out here and hit those lines on the dots.
Oh, man. We got cheese livery.
Our hometown flyer, Cam, in the got cheese livery, giving up a little bit, but still getting it stopped. So if Zach can get it under control with his landing, and if he can, put it in there just after the line, he might have a chance to win this. He's flying well today. He's just giving up a little bit. So if we had any tip for you, Zach, it would just be Try to hit that line. I know it's tough, guys. These guys make it seem really easy, but we do have a wing over. Yeah, we do have
wing over, nose over.
Wing over, nose over. I don't know.
Cat's
we do have something. We do have something going on out here.
All right, Luke's disqualified for wing touch damage.
So they're going to have to take Luke's plane out of the competition and check it over for damage. It looks like he did smack down on the wing. It didn't look too bad, but obviously when you're talking about flying airplanes, we're talking about life and death here. Even if it's in the simulator, we want to make this as realistic as possible. So he's going to be checking out his wing and nursing that thing back to life if it's damaged. That was a close one. That was a really close one. I don't know what to call that. Cam, what do you think?
That looks like 95 feet, maybe.
95 feet. So I want to take a second and give a shout out on the Twitch channel. Everyone viewing over there, you guys are awesome. I want to give a shout out to Andy Ainer TV for stopping in. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not, but I hope I am. But I want to give a shout out to him. I know he's a YouTuber, but maybe if you check out his Twitch channel, maybe he will do some Twitch streams, or maybe he already does. We'll have to check it out. I know I'm going to take a second to follow the Twitch channel and go check out the YouTube of Andy Ainer TV, one of the premier German content creators.
That was actually 87 feet on that last landing for Rico.
So, Cam, it looks like we have someone coming in from the YouTube channel saying, so good, they nailed the Hartford scenery. And, I mean, you got to give... So that is actually Stam Shinkis, one of the pilots, one of the eSTOL pilots in the real world. And he's saying that, you know, he's been out to Hartford before, so he knows what it looks like. And he's saying that we nailed the scenery. And I'm going to just give all that credit to Zach and for supplying the pictures, and probably Tom and some of the other guys at eSTOL or at STOL, and Anov for making the scenery. And guys, you can get the scenery. Anyone can buy it. It's in the official Flight Sim store. It's only $4.99. We keep it the low price for you guys. So please go check that scenery out. Don't forget to rate it 5 stars. We already know it's worth the 5 stars. So if you think it's worth the 5 stars, make sure you rate that 5 stars, so that way we can get the get the light out on eSTOL even more. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys, on the YouTube channel, and make sure that you pay attention to this unlimited class, because it is heating up. It looks like Pete is in the lead, and Kat, I know she's 50 points or so behind, but it doesn't really, it's nothing for Kat, because if we all know, Kat is one of the people that's able to pull the tricks out of the bag and just, come in and really beat anything she's done in the past. There she goes. Not even a bobble back down to the runway. Maybe a little bit, but it looks like she's now even starting to perfect her takeoff even more. And just to kind of go over the scores here, we have Pete C with a total of 96, Kat B in the total of 142. Rico Sawyer's tied with the 701, which I knew this plane was going to compete. I'm happy to see that. Rico S in 142, Norcali J 164, so not too far behind in the carbon. And then Zach L in the NX Cub with the 188. I'm surprised to see Pete destroying the competition by 50 points, even though we know Kat can make that up. But really, right now, he's destroying everything in that parallel 42 competition kit fox. So I think we might see some people maybe changing their minds on what they're flying here. If Pete can hold on to it, I bet you we're going to see some switching going around on what people are flying. I know a lot of times they don't like to switch during the middle of the season, but we have seen people say, I don't care, I'm switching, and they forego the points that they've accrued in other planes.
Yeah.
Pete just goes too hard with it. He goes too hard with it, and he really just He ends his career, at least for this heat. He ends his career right there with the nose over. My Lord. Are you we were finally going to see somebody beat the 701. Not that I'm rooting against Cat and Cat and Luke, but I mean, Pete, you were our only chance. Oh, okay. So coming in from race control, he does still have. He can hold on to any points that were scored before the event that disqualified him. So anything before that, so his 96 still is going to count. So that changes the entire competition, because think about it this way: if he does now disqualify, let's say he was completely disqualified, well, that kind of puts Cat, Rico, those two are tied right now, and it would put them at ease almost. But now they still have to beat that 96, so it doesn't matter. Pete's disqualified, but who cares, because he's still got that 96 on the board. They're still going to be trying and sweating to get that freaking score beat. That's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Barrick is chiming in from the Twitch channel saying he still keeps his 96. I'm surprised that you guys knew that. That's a rule that I did not know, but I'm writing it down as we speak with my pen and paper here, so I'll remember it for next time. Cat coming in the slip, full flaps. She's probably going to roll. She's probably going to hold it off really, really low to the ground, which is a maneuver that you see a lot of times in real-life STOL competitions. It's probably the more dangerous way, as far as dangerous to her score, because she could scratch. And there you see it, folks. She does scratch.
Man.
She's going to be going for it now. She knows she's got a lot of ground to make up. She knows that. She's going to be she doesn't care anymore. You know, in her eyes, it's, hey, I'm going to go for it. Whatever I've got left, I'm going for it. And I think that may have been the last round. I don't know. We may see a fourth round. I don't know if we're going to see a fourth round. Now, we know we can see a fourth round. It's possible, depending on the time. But we may or may not see a fourth round. And Stoyer coming in the BBP.
Wow.
So that's the end of Heat 1. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to see 4 more people competing in the Unlimited class. But great job to everybody who competed in the first heat of the Unlimited class. That 96 from the sponsored Parallel 42, Pete, is going to be really hard to beat. Even though he disqualified, he still keeps that 96, and he takes that round. But he's still got to go up against 4 more people. So we're going to take the quick commercial break. We'll see you guys in a minute. Stick around with more information, or with more Unlimited pilot flying coming in just a second. All right, guys, we are back with more National eSTOL Unlimited action here at Hartford, Wisconsin, with a huge round just before the break. Pete C holding on to the points there. 96 is going to be the score to beat. So we have 4 more pilots, a total of 10 in this class. 96 is the score to beat, and really no one even close to Pete. I mean, that's crazy. We've had the Kip Fox competition version in a couple times, and I don't think anybody dialed it in until just now, because, I mean, the 701 was the plane to beat, but now, I mean, you see that like almost by around 50 points or so, just taking taken the competition by storm. Even though he did get disqualified for the nose over, the score was there before he nosed over, so that's going to carry over. And now Sarah Eggleton, Philip Bunsley, Charlie Gordon, and Patrick Boddy have a really tough time ahead of them. I would not want to be them. And it just goes to show you, man, what practice will do. I know Pete is there every single day out at the field just practicing in his kit box, and that's what happens when you practice all the time. And I know everybody else practices, but, I mean, it just goes to show you, 96 feet, that's practice right there.
That is some real practice. So Sarah's got the same aircraft, so we'll see what she's going to be able to do with those numbers with comparable specs.
So, guys, National eSTOL at Hartford here, brought to you by DOF Reality, DOFreality.com. The best price full motion flight simulators, hands down, they are. There's nothing that's going to beat the price on those and the quality. I've flown in one. It's amazing. So check those out, DOFreality.com. We do have a few more planes left, but let's take a second to talk about the next competition coming up in about 6 weeks. On November 9th is Rocky Mountain STOL, and that's going to be in Pinedale. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with that area, it is a very high density altitude. I think the airport sits at about 7,000 or 6,000 feet or so you're already at quite a disadvantage. What have you seen in these past competitions? I mean, I know I've seen Steve Henry in the real world STOL competitions. It doesn't really look like it makes a difference to him, but I mean, his plane's quite different than everybody else's. But I know it's a completely different competition because they're already at a disadvantage. So they're really, power wise because of the altitude. So they're really, I mean, I think they compete a little harder even at Rocky Mountain because of the disadvantage that they already have.
Yeah, you're right. Steve is turboed, so I mean, anything with the turbo is going to perform really well at that high altitude because it's almost nothing for him. So,
right, definitely, Cam. That's a really good input there because I did not know that Steve had a turbo. I guess I should have known that, but I never really looked into it. I just knew his plane was bad apples, buddy. But definitely. So Galaxy Man in the Twitch chat saying, can't wait for the eSTOL after competition group flight. You guys know it. Twitch.tv/BurstXTV. Every single person watching, whether you're on the YouTube, whether you're on any Twitches, you guys can all, because we do have the National eSTOL Twitch and the BurstXTV Twitch, and I think even Ryan does it on his, not Ryan, but there's a few different Twitches that we do this on, the competition. But anybody can come fly with us. Twitch.tv/BurstXTV. You can come fly, and we do a group flight after the competition. I got a special one in store today. You're not going to want to miss it. So about 15 minutes after the competition, we're going to fire that group flight up. And so stop in, twitch.tv/BurstXTV, and come fly. A lot of the pilots come fly with us, and so you can too. And if you're interested in joining, we do have 3 rookies here. 3 rookie pilots, Sarah Eggleton, Philip Bunsley, and Charlie Gordon. So three different rookies here coming in. And if you want to become a rookie in the National eSTOL competition, you can do that by going to nationalstol.com/chat and just get a hold of somebody in there. Get a hold of me, Burst6TV, get a hold of ADK, get a hold of It's Norcali or Red Baron, one of the ambassadors. Get a hold of us. Tell us you want to become a pilot. Tell us you want to compete in the Discord there, nationalstol.com/chat, and we'll get you hooked up. We'll bring you into the club, and you can join in all the fun of eSTOL. These guys love it. I thought it was really cool this morning seeing everybody lined up in their parking spots. ADK puts a lot of work into, he's the air boss. He puts a lot of work into making sure that these guys are proper and they're ready to go. They're all practiced up. We do all the practicing, guys. You don't have to learn how to do this on your own. We're all here for you to show you how to fly. in this fashion. So even if you've never flown a bush plane before, you might be an airliner guy, and you might say, hey, I want to try this. Well, we'll teach you everything you need to know at no cost to you. NationalSTOL.com/chat. Join the conversation. Join National eSTOL and become a member of the Pilots Club. And that was Philip Boonsley. Philip Boonsley in the BBP Easy Riders, heavily influenced and developed by Scopalicious, our friend from South Africa. Scopalicious I've watched Scopalicious start his development journey just by kind of messing around with different things here and different planes, and I'm very much the same way. So guys, I'm building I have a development company called Third Wind Simulations, and we're building Fiesler Storch, and we want to put it in the competition here. So I'm very much the same way as Scopalicious. When I fly, I have a hard time not seeing the faults in different aircraft that I fly and then trying to fix them. So I think, that's where Scopalicious got his start in development, but it kind of culminated in this BBP Cub that we now see is competing against the 701, which has been the longtime winner here at National STOL. Much appreciated on the follow there, Andy Ainer TV to the Burstix TV Twitch channel. Appreciate that. NC Ferrum is talking about he needs to polish the Suicide Fox, which is a modification for the Kit Fox. And yes, we are having a group flight after, guys. They're asking about it in the Twitch channel. Yes, we're going to have a giant group flight afterwards. So come on out and fly. It's going to be a bush flight. It's going to be real fun.
And it's going to be super cool.
Cam, you going to break the yaw man out? No, you're at the airport today. I was going to say, one of these days we're going to get you to break the yaw man out.
I'll do, yeah. I was trying to do it this week during your flyouts, and it didn't work out because I was working at the same time. But
no problem, man.
Yeah.
Any chance you get in, like I always say this, anybody that comes in and hangs out in my stream, you guys can always come in and, I know everybody's busy. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But whenever you do get a chance, come on in, and would love to fly with you. So we do have the green flag and the STOL Club Kit Fox livery, the competition Kit Fox, Sarah Eggleton. And I'm just getting news that Philip Boonsley is actually our South African friend Scopalicious that we were just talking about. Little bit of a bobble there trying to get it off the ground, but once she was up in the air, she's flying.
Yeah.
Pretty good takeoff. Pretty good takeoff from the rookies here. Now, all these guys are rookies today, just in this last heat here. These last three people, they're all rookies. And so they're up against it right now. They're up against, one of the best. Pete, who's a sponsored eSTOL pilot, been doing this for a little while now. They're up against the wall right here with the 96 score to beat. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see here, because now that I know that Philip Boonsley is Scopalicious, I know Scopalicious bush skills are really good. So this is going to be a tough one to call. I'm not even going to bother calling it, because you never know what you're going to see.
I think it's going to be good either way for sure.
It sounded almost like he had his propeller back or something starting off. Charlie Gordon, it seemed like he wasn't up to full RPM in the beginning of the takeoff, but then you heard it spool up there, and then boom, he was going off the ground.
Yeah, it did sound kind of like it was kind of flat. But I don't know if that had, say, an adjustable prop.
I think that version does. I'm almost positive.
Okay.
I think it does. But it's also a possibility that he didn't have his nitrous on too, because I know the BBP version has nitrous. I think the SS X Cub version, I think they both have nitrous.
That's good.
And as these guys come around, I'm still in awe. The only thing I can think about is how How the heck was Pete so far above the pack? I mean, it's like... Oh, you know what? I'm just actually looking at this. It took a little bit to calculate the scores, but Stoyer's not that far behind Pete. So the BBP Cub did actually beat the 701. So regardless of Pete's scores, which we already know he's the current leader right now in this unlimited class, it looks like the BBP Cub actually beat the 701 by 30 something points.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say we finally have a competition against the 701. Coming in, just turning the lights on and getting the flaps down. Sarah Eggleton, number 111 in the Kip Fox Series 5. Currently the plane that holds the lead, different pilot here, but the same plane is holding the lead. And it looks like she's going to give up some, about 20 feet. So Cam, how does it work if they're giving up, for the chat? How does that work when they're giving up feet like that? I mean, when they're landing 20 feet over the line, how does that affect their total score?
That's on to the threshold. You give up some, and stopping. Your stopping distance is going to be combined. So wherever you stop is essentially where we're going to measure from. So I mean, the idea is not to give up. I mean, just to give up a couple inches if you possibly can on the STOL line, because of course we can't touch it. So, looks like we got a go around. I think Sarah got on the line a little too early.
Smart thinking though, out of. Okay, so Sarah's unable to see the plane in front of her, so she did do a go around. It looks like Philip came in and landed with Philip Boonsley had a 69-foot takeoff, 87 feet on the landing, which, I mean, still quite far away from the 96 that we saw as a total for Pete C. A total of 223 for the first run from Sarah. Philip has a total of 156 for the first run, and then Charlie's coming in right now. Charlie Gordon, the X-Cub SS. This is a slightly different variant from the BBP Cub that we see currently in second place with that Rico's 108. And nice hold off. Nice hold off there in the military livery. I like that livery. Nice livery. I've never... Isn't that? I think that is a Mustang livery. I can't quite read what the side says there, but I think that's a livery from a Mustang, from a P51.
I think you're right, actually.
So according to Race Control, that is his family's Mustang. So he must have transferred the livery from there. They own a Mustang. That's awesome. I want to own a Mustang. I think it's Little Miss, isn't it? I think it says Little Miss on the side of it.
I can't really tell.
So if you want to see some pictures of that, the real life P51 Little Miss, Charlie actually posts pictures in the Discord. Just go to nationalstol.com/chat and you get to see some real life pictures of that P51 that he has transferred the livery over onto for his eSTOL plane. And I love that livery, man. I'm a huge World War II history buff. I love that, getting all the information I can about it. Great takeoff from Sarah. In her first ever appearance in National eSTOL, all three of the pilots today is their first ever appearance from this heat anyway, is their first ever appearance in National eSTOL. So everybody's doing, really well. It looks like Philip's cutting into the lead of NorCali J and Zach Lobert. So Philip Boonsley or Scopalicious taking two people out of the lead here from the previous heat, and he may get a warning there. That was a little bit over the line. He might end up getting a warning. We'll have to wait and see. From the Twitch chat, we have Entpro asking if PC6s take a part in eSTOL too. So I will say this, Entpro, we used to have a class called the Exhibition class, and the PC6 was part of it. But we actually changed that class out for the Spec class, which has been wildly popular. So I don't think we'll see a return of the PC6 anytime soon, unless it is in the Spec class, which is a possibility because you know, it's a freeware plane and it's kind of a good plane to pick. But typically we try to pick planes from developers, you know, like newer planes, things that developers want to show off. You know, we want to kind of show the spotlight to newer planes and things like that. But it is every once in a while we'll do a plane like that, so it's possible we could see it. But most likely, it's already made its appearance, and that time might be over for the PC6. So we have a 48-foot takeoff for Charlie. That was really good takeoff. I think that might be the best takeoff yet. Yeah, Cam, I'm seeing that's the second best takeoff. The best takeoff was 11 feet shorter than 9 feet shorter than that with Stoyer's 39. But he did scratch on that round, so that takeoff didn't count. We'll see if Charlie Gordon can make it count, and then he will have officially the shortest takeoff that is in play still. The chat is asking if the decathlon might have a chance. I would say, why not? You know, Hangar Studios, all that any developer has to do is get a hold of me. If they want to have their plane spotlighted in our Spec class, which means that all the pilots will be flying that plane competing against each other. It's a really popular class. One of the best classes we have on, next to the Unlimited class as far as excitement goes and amount of pilots flying in it. So if anybody wants their plane, all you got to do is get a hold of me, and we'll consider you, whatever plane, whatever developer will consider that plane. Looks like we have a go around. Who is that? Who is that on the go around, Cam?
All right, that was Sarah for the go around and the Kid Fox.
Sarah Eggleton on the go around. Coming in, Philip Boonsley flying out of Switzerland. I thought he was in South Africa. I know he's from South Africa. Maybe he's just in Switzerland right now. Really nice controlled landing. Oh, and he scratches.
Oh, just a scratch.
Quite a scratch too. Quite a scratch, I'll tell you. But that's what happens, man, when these guys, they're trying to beat 96 feet, you know, so they're really going to be trying to hit that line. But you never know. You get a little gust, or you lose a little bit of wind there, and that can change everything. You can land long, or you can land short, like you just saw. NC Ferrum says he's a cute guy from South Africa, and now it lives in CH. I'm not sure what CH is. China, Switzerland? I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what, though, that decathlon that is actually now released. I did a video on it yesterday. If you check out my YouTube channel, it's just youtube.com/@Burstix. You can see the video of the decathlon. Hangar Studios has been a sponsor of National eSTOL, and a good friend of mine, he just released a super decathlon, and it's really, really fun, man. It's a mind trip because it looks like a bush plane, but it flies like an acrobatic plane. So it takes a little bit to like get your mind over the fact that you're not flying a bush plane, because again, it's another one of those planes that doesn't have any flaps. But we did actually see an American champion super decathlon fly last year at Music City STOL, which, by the way, the real life national STOL coming up very soon is the Music City STOL. It's in Gallatin, Tennessee, and last year that's where we saw that American champion. Are you going to that this year, Cam? Are you going to be at Music City STOL in live and in the flesh?
I wish I could be, but I have a local air show going on that I'm helping host. So,
okay.
Yeah, I won't be around, but I'll be there in spirit for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people in aviation, I tend to see where all of us, whether it's sim or real life, we kind of just tend to keep ourselves busy with everything we can. So not surprised that you've got a million things going on. But Cam, you got to do it. You know, you got to do your hometown stuff. But we've seen you at a ton of the real life ones.
Yeah,
Sarah
are you going to be
Edelson,
able to make it to Music City?
No, I don't. I was talking to Tom last night, and I don't think I'm going to make it because I have a baby due, and so my wife will be having the baby just around that time, or maybe a week after that or so. And so I think just in case it comes early, I don't want to be partying down in Tennessee without her. So yeah, I'm gonna play it safe on this one and take it home or stay at home.
Yeah.
So we have some information here coming into the Twitch chat. Smitty, FPV, he's one of the pilots from the first round and it did some extensive flight modeling for the Super Decathlon that's now released for the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. And it will be also in 2024. They're going to upgrade it to the 2024 standards when the time comes, which is very soon, a couple months coming out. But Smitty said that the HS713 might make, which is Hangar Studios, might make a Scout, which is a STOL variant of the Decathlon. And Smitty, I'm really happy to see that because I have been asking, more like begging, Hangar Studios to make the Super Scout. I really, really want him to do it. I want to see more bush planes in the flight simulator so we can add more stuff to our competition. But obviously, they've got to be on the money. They've got to be close to the real world thing, very close.
Yeah, and we know Hangar Studios on display right now at this at the charity event.
Really? And that's kind of a rare, a rare bush plane. You don't see many of them, but I know they kind of tout themselves as like the blue collar husky. You know what I'm saying?
I would say that it's that's a fair assessment. I would say that it's like the champ version of the Super Cub, essentially.
Yeah, comparing it because it's still that little showing off there coming from Philip Boonsley, still staying within the lines as far as I can tell.
Yeah, look like it.
But yeah, that Super Scout I think is it's a better price point than what you would see for like an X Cub from Cub Crafters, or it's a better price point than obviously a Husky or something like that. But I know the performance on it is very similar, if not better than the previously mentioned couple of planes there. So it would be cool to see it in the flight sim. And if Hangar Studios does it, we know it's going to be good. Ooh, nice takeoff from Charlie Gordon. In the Little Miss. Yeah. Little Miss X Cub SS. Yeah. Yeah, he's probably got the nitrous running. He's probably jamming out to some tunes,
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful livery there, Little Miss. I guess so. What we've heard is his family actually owns the Little Miss P-51, which I actually have the Aeroplane Heaven P-51, and I have that livery that I fly around now. I've made some modifications to my Airplane Heaven P-51 because it could have been a little better. But I've made some modifications to it, specifically changing out the sound for the flight sim. But this livery is definitely a nice one, and maybe I'll have to take this one for a rip afterwards. Coming in from the Bursix TV Twitch chat, Super Tom says, I'm trying to get one of the Red Bull Cub Dubai landing crew guys signed up for eSTOL. I hope it works out. Yeah, Super Tom, man, you need any help? Let me know, dude. I would love to help you out and get that guy in here. That's cool. How'd you meet this guy, Tom? The crowd cheering. NC Ferrum saying, "Come on, Stoyer, 13 feet. You can do this." Stoyer's only behind by 13 feet, but I don't think Stoyer's actually. I think Stoyer's round is over. So I don't think NC Ferrum. I don't think he actually has a chance to take the first place, but he does hold on to the second. And maybe that's what you're calling. Maybe that's what you're saying is hope he holds on to the second place. But as you can see, looks like another called scratch. And it's all right. We see that sometimes out of the rookies. And now, by and large, the rookies have come in and taken first and second places, which, I mean, I was wondering how long that could last, with new pilots coming in, the other pilots getting continually better as they practice throughout the season. Now, guys, all these pilots are competing for season points, and I think still in the lead for the unlimited class is Cat. But we see a new leader today in the pack, Pete C, with that parallel 42 competition Kip Fox. Nice landing. And there was a review. Looks like the call that was reviewed is going to stand. And that was for Philip Bunsley. So we do call a good landing for Philip Bunsley that we did have to review, but after review, it is good. Super Tom, if you have a link to that, definitely feel free to share it. You're more than welcome to share that link over on the Twitch, and I'll check it out. Nice landing from Charlie Gordon. So Charlie Gordon flying out of, I'm probably not going to say this right, but Brattlebin, New York, a place I've never heard of, but is actually quite close to me in relativity. So that looks to be the end of it right there. So we're gonna whip the calculator up and try to figure out who's the winner of this. And the scores are in. So Pete holds on to the lead. Pete with the Kip Fox competition from parallel 42. The best takeoff from him was 57 feet. The best landing was 39. Rico Stoyer, the 51-foot takeoff as his best, and his best landing was 57. So he'll take the second place and grab some points for the season. Charlie Gordon, a rookie, coming in third place, knocking out some of the people that were in the first heat. 41 on the best takeoff, 79 on the best landing, 127. Looks like Cat Blue Flame with a 39-foot takeoff and an 85-foot landing. Her landing was what really held her back there, 142 feet. Philip Boonsley, another rookie, 50 and 66 for the best takeoff and landings, respectively, with a 142, tied with Cat Blue Flame. And then North Cali J rounding it out in the Savage Carbon with a 77-foot takeoff and an 85-foot landing for a total of 164. So we did see it, guys. We did see the BBP come in as the new plane and take a little bit of it by storm. I'm happy to see the competition now. Look at that. We have the Parallel 42 Kip Fox, we have the BBP and the SS Cub, and now the 701 all competing. That's a healthy competition, and I am so happy to see that. And I can't forget, coming in 7th and 8th place, Zach Lobert with a really good takeoff of 57 feet, but needs a little work on the landing, 131 for a total of 188. And then Sarah Eggleton rounding out the pack in her very first competition. And we thank you guys as rookies coming in here and going up against these guys and girls that fly this all the time. So Sarah Eggleton rounding it out with a 288. Actually, I think it was 249 or so. But either way, rounding out the pack. Guys, thank you so much for coming in and watching Sodbusters eSTOL competition. Don't forget, brought to you by DOF Reality, brought to you by Parallel 42, brought to you by Got Friends, and brought to you by National STOL. Guys, this has been an awesome competition. I love to see the new airplanes come in and kind of take out the competition. Cam, what are your thoughts on the competition as far as those new airplanes coming in? Were you happy to see that?
Oh yeah, I was absolutely happy to see it, especially that J3. Like it's a beautiful looking aircraft. They've had some really good aircraft models made. So shout out to the developers, and of course shout out to the developers for the field, for the venue that we have today. It's spot on. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Zach, our hometown flyer here in the Got Cheese livery, for supplying the pictures, Anna for making it, our camera guys, and National STOL, Tom in the back room getting the production. Beautiful production today, almost flawless. I would say flawless. Maybe the best production in the history of eSTOL, I would say. But guys, thank you for coming in. We're going to have a group flight just after this, about 15 minutes. Come to HTTPS. I'm not going to say that whole thing. I don't remember. Twitch.tv/BurstixTV. We're going to have a nice group flight, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in about 6 weeks on November 9th. Same time, same place. National eSTOL will be back. with Appalachian STOL.